Pros bring a little extra to everything they do. So do we. It's called Pro Extra, the Home Depot's loyalty program built just for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like Pro Extra dollars or tool rental credit, plus other great benefits that save time and money. With Pro Extra, the more you spend, the more you earn. Get $20 off your next purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Sign up on the Home Depot mobile app.
The Wendy's restaurant in your area has issued a major bag alert.
Bag alert, major bag alert.
The bacon double stack is back in the biggie bag with fries, nugs, and a drink, all for just $5. The following are to be expected: joy, disbelief, inability to think about anything else. This deal is effective immediately, and it's only at Wendy's.
Major bag alert. Bag alert, major
Biggie bag includes 4-piece nuggets, small fry, and small drink. U.S. price and participation may vary.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Very, 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 Mickey, Fishy, fishy!
You are listening to the Voices of Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
X out, go listen to some boring podcast where they're afraid of their own shadow. Okay? Don't listen to Joe Lanza, because Joe Lanza's not changing.
And Rich Craich.
I like him. Who delivers this guy in a big spot?
Joe, don't yell at me. I like him.
In the big spot, who delivers better than this guy?
Stop yelling at me. I agree.
And we are live here on the Voices of Wrestling Flagship podcast. I'm Rich Craich, alongside, as always, the king of banter, Mr. Joe Lanza. Joe, you promised an update on the dishwasher. I'm at the edge of my seat, I with bated breath, figuring out what happened with this dishwasher. Please update us on the dishwasher saga.
You're so anxious to hear about the dishwasher that you don't even give me a chance to do like the fake greeting.
Yeah, I don't care how you're doing. I want to know how this damn dishwasher's going. Yeah, I'm interested in appliance purchases post COVID. Have been very interesting in my life, and I'm curious how your experience went, because I could tell you from in-laws, from parents, from everybody that I know, if you need something now, just don't, because it's not good to need anything. So I'm very curious how you went. And maybe if you figured out a hack, if you will, to how to actually get something during the post-COVID era.
I'm doing great, Rich. I'm ready to talk about another great week in professional wrestling.
I was going to say, do you really want to talk wrestling? Because, I mean, I could talk wrestling if you want, but yeah.
Well, here's the thing about wrestling.
It sucks. It's not good.
Wrestling fucking stinks,
so
okay? It's really bad right now. So, I would like to just do 3 hours on what's going on around the Lanza and Craich households. I mean, it'd probably be more interesting than what's going on in pro wrestling right now. But yeah, I do have an update on the dishwasher saga. If you recall, Rich, when I returned from the Lanza vacation, I returned to a home with broken central air and a broken dishwasher. Couple of weeks back on the Flagship. Took care of the air situation. But we've been in here doing dishes by hand like Little House on the Prairie for like the last 3 weeks. What was Michael Landon's character on Little House on the Prairie?
You're asking the wrong guy. I don't know if I ever watched Little House on the Prairie, to be honest.
I'm in here like Charles Ingalls scrubbing pans and cleaning dishes. TLB in here like Laura Ingalls, right?
Right. She's got like the whole thing going. She's got a rag to damp her sweat because she's working so hard. You know what I mean? She's got the little apron on and her dishwashing gloves, and she's handing you the plate. She's washing it. You're drying them. She's handing you the fine china, and you're drying it up and putting it up.
I'm not even in the same room. I want nothing to do with that task. I'm in the bathroom pretending to take a shit. Okay, I don't want nothing to do with doing dishes. This, like I said, this is not the 1890s. Why am I doing dishes by hand? It's ludicrous, to be honest with you. But so we're in here washing dishes by hand like it's the olden times. Okay, can't take it anymore. But finally, Joe puts on the thinking cap. People are going to be proud of me here, Rich.
Okay, yeah, I'm very curious. You were excited about this. This was 3 or 4 days ago. You said, "Hey, I have an update on that." So I know that something worked out well in your favor because you were very excited to talk about it. So yeah, go continue.
You know I'm utterly useless around the house. I make no bones about this. I'm not.
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know how to respond to that. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, essentially, yes. Yeah.
Useless, completely useless. I can't fix anything. So I'm thinking about this, and I'm looking at the dishwasher. I'm lifting. I'm like adjusting my belts. I have my hand on my chin. Right. I have my hand on my chin.
So now, are you adjusting the belt up or down? Like, what are we doing with the belt adjustment?
Well, it's a metaphorical belt.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you know that thing you do, like you adjust the waistband on your.
Yeah, you kind of go, all right. Well,
like,
business is picked
on.
up. Let's see. You gotta kind of. Yeah, I guess you would hike them up a little bit. You kind of hike them up, and then you'd also centralize them too.
That's the move.
Yeah, you kind of grab both sides and kind of nothing happens. You kind of just go, hey, and then you're there. But now you've said that it's like in basketball. It's like hiking up the shorts in basketball when you're playing defense. Like it does nothing, but it indicates that business is picked up.
Listen, I'm ready to play some D.
Right.
That's what it tells them. Right. And this is saying, look, I'm ready to fix something.
Right.
What it really is I don't know what to do with my hands because I feel helpless. And it's a
you could do a slap. You could do like all right, let's go here. Like you can rub them together. I think that's a good way too.
Whether you're doing the waist adjustment, the slap, or the chin rub, it's all body language saying I feel
know what
helpless.
I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So.
Right. So I'm sitting there doing that and I'm rubbing my chin, but then I'm thinking, and I keep pressing the start button, which I've done 10,000 times.
Wait a minute. I haven't. I figured it out, honey.
Maybe it'll start this time, right?
Just didn't hit start.
But I'm thinking, I don't think there's any power going to this thing.
Okay.
So I start thinking. So I check under the sink where, the outlet. It's plugged in. So that wasn't it. It wasn't as simple as that. And how would it have come unplugged anyway? Let's be honest. That would be weird, right? But then I thought to myself, if I can get other devices that need to be plugged in, I can test that socket, right? Maybe the socket's the problem. And if the socket's the problem, right, we can get like an extension cord and just run the dishwasher through another socket.
You're so proud of yourself. I can hear it in your voice. I've never heard you so proud of yourself. That's saying something. Continue. I think I see where this is going, but continue.
Just a temporary solution, if nothing else, right? So I start getting things from around the house to try to plug into this fucking socket that's underneath the sink inside of a cabinet. Like, it's not easy to get to, okay? I actually had to get off my feet. I had to, like, get down on my knees and, like, lean over and get in there. And I don't know if you knew this, but I don't know how you would know this. I have extremely sharp and bony knees. And it is very uncomfortable for me to get down on knees or anything like that because of these extremely pointy and sharp bones I have protruding out of my knees. If I were an MMA
sharp
fighter,
knee a thing? I don't think I've ever heard of a sharp knee, but okay, all right.
This is a thing in MMA. People who have
it should be pretty round, right?
People who have sharp bones that like they shave them down so they don't cause themselves to bleed over and over. Anyway, I've got these sharp knees, so it's very uncomfortable for me to get down there. But so I get like the can opener and plug it in. I get like a fucking nightlight and plug it in, both the top and the bottom of the socket. I'm feeling so smart. Nothing works in this socket. I've identified the problem. We've got a blown fucking socket under the sink, right? So I immediately call TLB at work. She's in the middle of a work day.
You're like, honey, please drop everything.
Yeah. She's in the middle of like,
yeah.
She's in the middle of trying to get like this big promotion too.
Yeah, she's like, transacting millions of dollars and you're
I'm calling her work to tell her that I've identified the issue. I'm telling her to get on Amazon and order a fucking extension cord so we can run this thing until we get the electrician out here, right? And I'm all happy because I can finally tell another man that I have correctly diagnosed some sort of man issue, which I'm never able to do, right? I just look like a complete dope when it comes to cars or stuff around the house, right? So I'm explaining this to him, and I'm all proud of myself, and I'm beaming, and you know this is where the story turns. So I'm like, I've got this all figured out. You don't even – listen, I'm going to save you half the time. This socket's not working. That's why you're here. And while you're here, we got the – and he's like, hold on a second. He goes over to the kitchen cabinet, right? And he flips on a light switch. There's a light switch in the corner by my kitchen cabinet that controls the socket that the dishwasher was plugged into. And then he presses the start button and the dishwasher turns on.
Oh my God.
This entire time for 3 weeks, the dishwasher has simply been turned off.
Now, how did that happen though? Was that like a pre-vacation turn all the lights off thing? Where maybe you guys were just going through and just, hey, make sure everything's off and just throwing stuff down, or I don't know. Yeah, that's
TLB turned it off.
Okay. Oh,
she said
we're not naming names, but we're not pointing fingers.
I have never touched that switch. Okay. Apparently, that switch used to control the garbage disposal as well, but the garbage disposal, like any garbage disposal, broke like within 6 months of buying the house because those things are terrible and they're useless.
Mine's still good. Mine's still good, but now I'm very worried.
Do you use it?
I do all the time. Yeah, I use it pretty frequently. But now I'm not. I'm never going to use it again. Now that you've mentioned it.
So I had that thing, instead of replacing it, I just had it torn out of there.
Yeah.
So I've never thought about that switch since. It's just always been on. But she was like cleaning the wall or something, and she turned it off.
Got it.
And this whole time, we've been scrubbing pots and pans and cleaning dishes and shopping for dishwashers, by the way.
Thank God. Can you imagine?
Could you fucking imagine?
The guy comes and installs it, plugs it in. It's this brand new. You probably have to wait like 3 months to get it because it's impossible to get anything. It's way more expensive than it needs to be because everything's in high demand. The guy comes and plugs it in. Not working, huh? That's just weird. Then he walks over, flips that switch on, it turns on, and you're brand new. And you can't, I mean, at that point, you're too far gone. The guy's come in and installed it. You know what I mean? Like that would just be so much worse. Can you imagine? I mean, you would have to try to sell it to yourself of, hey, well, this dishwasher's pretty nice. Like, look at all the features. You would have to sell it to yourself because God damn it, we just spent, X amount of money on this brand new dishwasher, and all the problem was this fucking light switch. So
as noted, of course, she was looking at the most expensive dishwashers imaginable.
Yeah, Wi-Fi enabled, and yeah.
Smart dishwashers. Okay.
Start it while you're on your way home from work. You can hit a button and you can go.
Right. Nobody needs that.
No.
So it would have been an utter disaster. So I went from feeling like the smartest man on earth who has finally accomplished something around the house, aside from changing light bulbs, to feeling like the dumbest man on earth. Because who's the person here when the electrician's here? Not the person who turned off the switch. No, me. So I look like the dummy. So that is how the dishwasher situation was came to a conclusion. Same dishwasher, we simply turned it back on. 3 weeks of dishpan hands. Humiliating.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, it's in one sense it's like you feel good because okay, easy problem. We don't have to buy a whole new dishwasher, all that sort of stuff. But like, it's almost in some cases kind of worse. Like you almost would be better off in like your own mental headspace, just like buying a new dishwasher, just never knowing that was the issue. You know what I mean? Like the installer doesn't even say anything. He flips the switch on, even if he notices, or just by accident, you guys flip the switch on in the time that the guy's installing it. And then like, it would have just been a lot better. You just would have said, damn, dishwasher broke, whatever guys. You know what I mean? Like, so,
yeah.
That it would have been, I mean, yes, it would have been like a much more damage to your checkbook and much more damage to the wallet and all that sort of stuff, but you would have never known how dumb and how easy the problem was. And that sometimes is worse than anything.
I even got a hold of an extension cord just to run the old one temporarily, but it was a 2-prong extension cord and I needed a 3-prong, so couldn't even get that right. So so that didn't even work out. Yeah,
you can't do anything. You are pretty worthless.
I really can't. Yeah, totally worthless, except up in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise,
that's in the house. Hey, you said around the house. That
is in the house. Yeah, but I do a tremendous job there. But in terms of fixing things, just as you can see, it's an absolute fucking dumpster fire anytime anything goes wrong around here. But look, if you're gonna humiliate yourself, you have to come on the air and humiliate yourself to thousands upon thousands of people as well. Okay, that's part of what people enjoy about this show. So Absolutely. We humiliate ourselves for 3 hours a week.
Yeah, so, not only just because we watch pro wrestling and talk about it for 3 hours every single week, but also because it's stuff in our real life. It will sometimes come and humiliate us too. So yeah, it's good. But this is a humiliating week of pro wrestling, as they really have always, not always been, but have been over the last year and a half or so. It is yet another week where I wonder what the hell we're doing. I'm searching for anything of pro wrestling that gets me excited and gets me feeling juiced and interested or whatnot, and I gotta tell you, Joe, it's not working. I know you checked in on some New Japan, and I have not seen New Japan recently. I've kind of sworn off Empty Arena New Japan or Clap Crowd New Japan for a little while. I might jump back in, but right now I just can't do it. Have you seen anything that you've liked over the last? You did a pretty aggressive catch up today, right, with New Japan?
Oh, I watched the last two shows, the 22nd and the 23rd, the Korakuen shows. I pretty much kept up. I mean, I haven't really fallen behind, but yeah, I'm completely caught up on New Japan. Yeah. What do you want to know?
Just anything that's really kind of gotten you going. I mean, I know I watched a few of the Young Lion things. I watched Yua Uemura versus, man, who did he face? Oh, Suzuki. I watched that match. I watched a few other ones, and those were okay. Those were pretty good. And of the one show that I watched a show all the way through. Completely forgettable show at this point, and that was the best match of the entire show, which did not bode very well. But yeah, how are those Young Lion trial series going? Because I have not seen all of them yet.
They've been okay. I mean, they're fine. The problem with them is they're all going about 12, 13, 14 minutes. And a lot of them are just 50-50 good pro wrestling matches, right? But that's not what I want out of those matches. They're not officially trial series matches. I know everybody's calling them that just because that's what they feel like. You know what I mean? But it's essentially the same sort of thing. It's the Young Lions in singles matches against the established guys. You don't have to call it a trial series, but that's really what these are. And I don't want a 13-minute 50-50 match against, I don't know, Zack Sabre Jr. or Taichi in this kind of match. I don't want that. I want to watch these kids get bullied. I want to watch the stars toy with them. I want to see the stars slap them around and you know, or the opposite end of the other style of match that works in this scenario is what Kenny Omega used to do. Remember those Kenny Omega matches against Juice Robinson and Jay White when they were Young Lions, where Juice Robinson and Jay White took Kenny Omega to the limit, and it because the idea was Kenny wasn't taking them seriously, and then they almost caught him and they almost beat him. That works too. That or bullying these guys like Shibata used to get in there and just destroy them in 30 seconds. That always works. But a 50-50 13-minute match, I mean, I don't know. It's just not what I want out of this kind of match. So I've seen them all now. The ones I like best were Okada versus Tsuji. Great Okan versus Tsuji was another one I liked because Okan really bullied him. And I think the Ibushi match on the 23rd against Uemura was interesting too. Because those are really the only three that have kind of broken the formula. I was very disappointed in Suzuki in his match. That's one of the ones you said you saw.
Yeah, I did see that one. And while I thought it was one of the best matches on the entire show, just because it was a pretty forgettable show, I didn't love the match either. Because I don't think Minoru Suzuki, and I know that they think pretty highly of Yu Uemura, and as many of us do, and we all think that this guy, has the ability to be a pretty big deal in New Japan when he's ready to go, and when they've kind of seen him through the excursion or whatever they're going to do. But I don't want Minoru Suzuki giving this guy 40% of a match. I want Minoru Suzuki just absolutely killing this boy and just destroying him in 5 minutes or whatever. That's the style I want. I want him just getting stretched and bullied, and he's left battered and beaten, and Suzuki's just laughing as he's walking back. I mean, that I think does way more than him going 40-60 with Minoru Suzuki for 15 minutes or whatever.
Especially Suzuki.
Right. Of all guys that should just go out there and just slap and stretch these guys like idiots, it should be him. Like you said, the Kenny Omega style that he did a few years ago was awesome because he would come in and he'd wear his t-shirt and he'd be like, who the fuck's this guy? I can't believe you're making me face this guy. Okay, fine, whatever. And then he'd get caught because it was like, oh shit, this guy's actually better than I thought he was. Okay, now I'll have to get serious. And then he hit a V-trigger and one-wing angel and then he put him away or whatever. I don't even want Suzuki to have 1 second where he thinks that. I want Suzuki to bell the ring and him immediately just say, I'm going to kill this kid. How dare you get in my ring with me? And it wasn't that. It was it's and that's been a problem with a lot of New Japan that I've watched as of late. And the reason why I kind of asked you about it is it just seems like it's just long for the sake of long, a lot of their stuff. And it really bores me.
Well, I think because they're 5-match shows, they feel like the matches have to have some length to them to give the paying customer their money's worth. So I think that's part of the problem too. If they were doing these kinds of matches on a typical 8-match Korakuen in normal times, okay, they'd be the 2 openers and they'd probably be 6 minutes long. And we'd probably be getting the style of match that we're talking about.
Sure.
But they can't do that right now because if they give you 2 matches that are 5 minutes long, there's only 3 matches left. And, this is why the main events have felt like they've taken an eternity too. I watched the Never 6-man title match was the main event on the 22nd, and the junior tag team title match was the main event on the 23rd, which was a title change, by the way. Less than 0 buzz. Nobody's watching this stuff. And those matches I don't even know the match lengths, but they felt interminably long. And it doesn't help with the clap crowds and that there's 600 people there or whatever either. I mean, that makes it feel longer. And the junior tag match in particular, I mean, that was a straight up 2-star special. I mean, there was nothing to that match. They worked a totally wrong style for a clap crowd. You know, and the never 6-man match, those, you know, they always work hard in those matches, but I can't call either one of them like very good matches or anything like that. And again, it's also the atmosphere. It's the same things that we always talk about that plague New Japan right now. You know, it's hard to watch. And I've been skipping, you know, I'm not watching the shows in their entirety. If you think I'm sitting through a fucking, I don't know, an LIJ 6-man or something, you're out of your mind. Like I watch Young Lions stuff at the start, and then I watch the main event if it's a title match. If the main event's not a title match, I don't even watch that. I blow that off. I can't do it. It's depressing watching New Japan right now.
It is, yeah, and that's why I've kind of thought it's been better for me to just, you know, kind of not watch it and kind of see what people think, and if people recommend a match, I'll go and check it out, but I can't do the full shows anymore. I just can't, and I hope pretty soon I can. I don't know when that's going to be, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon. I mean, I'm still going to obviously watch the entire big shows and stuff like that, but the days of, like, you know, sitting down and making sure I watch, you know, every Kazuna Road Tour match, I mean, that's just or show, that's just not happening anymore. It's just they're just depressing to watch. They're just absolute slogs to watch, especially in America. As little by little we're starting to get, you know, I'm able to watch basketball with a full giant arena, everyone's going nuts. I'm able to watch baseball in a full giant stadium and everyone's going nuts. I'm able to watch, you know, AEW, and now they're going to be in front of full, you know, stadiums going nuts, and WWE in another month will be in front of it, and it's just it's so hard to go back to it. And I feel bad that we're making the same complaint, you know, week after week after week, but it's just it just drags the whole product down. It's just terrible. So yeah, like, if there's going to be less New Japan talk, you know, moving forward on this show, it's one of the reasons why it's just hard to watch. It's just not interesting. Well,
they got about 19 fucking dome shows coming up. So
yeah.
You know, so it's like the major shows. I mean, that's kind of a slightly different animal. I mean, they're not exactly the pillars of excitement either, but at least you're going to get big matches and the big title. I got hiccups all of a sudden. Big title matches and whatnot. But, you know, the other thing I'm thinking, watching this main event from the 23rd, I guess that would be yesterday's show, the 23rd. Yeah. I mean, Roppongi 3K is the stalest act in wrestling. I mean, I just cannot take this tag team anymore. And I've got nothing against either guy, but that is a tag team that is so beyond their shelf life and long in the tooth at this point. It is the same shit year after year. Rich, you have any doubts they're winning the junior tag team tournament later this year?
I think you asked me that question in 2019 and 2020. I think both times. I said, no, they can't do it again. And then they did it again both those times. I mean, they're definitely going to. And I can't believe they brought that team back. I honestly cannot believe that after all, you know, Yo's injury and all that sort of stuff, everybody was like, all right, well, when Yo comes back, he's going to have to turn, or Show's going to turn on Yo, or Yo's going to join LIJ, and all. They just team up and then they just win the titles. It's like business as usual. Nothing, you know, no problem. Just the same old, and they lose the titles here. You know, I haven't seen the whole match, but I've seen some GIFs, and it's like, yeah, they roll out of the ring and they're done, and then they'll, as you said, at the end of the year, they'll come and they'll win the Junior Tag League. They'll go to Wrestle Kingdom. They'll probably win the titles at Wrestle Kingdom. It's just, yeah, I'm with you. I cannot believe that they brought that team back together. And I think it's doing a disservice to both guys. I mean, Show in particular, we saw what he can do away from Yo, and I've always been a Yo guy. I've had to admit in the last year that Show's probably the guy from the team, but like, I think that there's more value in Yo than just being one half of Roppongi 3K. I think there's something you could do with that guy, and we know that there's something you could do with Show, and it's just, yeah, it's unbelievable that there's still a team. It just shows, and that's been a problem with New Japan for a decade now at this point, of just never really knowing what to do with tag teams, never really knowing, you know, kind of when to move tag teams on or when to really do something. But it's pretty glaring with Show and Yo. I mean, they are, and the thing with Show and Yo is, you know, you look at those guys and you think, oh, you know, they're young guys. They got time. No, they're not. They're not young. Like, one of those guys is, what, aren't they 35 and 33?
Yo is 33 and Show is 31. They are.
That's not that young. Like,
they're just a couple years younger than Okada.
Right. Like, I don't know. I think at some point you gotta, you know, that bump card's getting you know, punched a bunch. Maybe if you're gonna do it with Show, do it now. Like, yeah, it's very strange. Very, very strange.
It's just the team is stale, and the other thing about it is I lost my train of thought. Oh, and the team itself. I mean, when you think about Roppongi 3K, they've been, They came back from excursion about 5 years ago or whatever it was, and they've been a team since, and they've been constantly in the title picture every moment that they've been back.
Oh, they're one of the most accomplished, like in a kayfabe standpoint. They're one of the most established and heralded teams ever. I mean, if you just from a kayfabe standpoint, they've won multiple tag leagues, had the titles 5 or 6 times or whatever. I mean, they've been dominant for 5 years.
They've won that junior tournament, whether it's a league or a knockout, multiple times. They've won the tag titles multiple times. And from the moment they returned, I mean, their return was the junior tag tournament, and they swept through it and won it, and then won the titles. They were undefeated for months and months upon their return. And but when you think about it, for a team that's always been in the mix, they don't have like this super long catalog of great matches.
No,
I mean, you think about the Bucks match where Matt Jackson sold the back is probably their best match off the top of my head. And they probably have a couple more that, were low level, but they have no match of the year contenders, not a single one. Okay. And, they probably got a couple other low level notebook, but you can't list off, like, think about it in your head right now. If you're listening or if you're Rich, list me off a litany of a half a dozen great Roppongi 3K matches. You struggle.
It struggles. Yeah. And as I'm thinking about that, I'm also thinking of, I probably can do that with Apollo 55. I can probably do that with the Time Splitters. I can do that with the Bucks, like you said. I mean, it's I can you can go back to even teams that just jumped in for a little
Red
bit.
Dragon.
Red Dragon, yeah, Motor City Machine Guns that would come in every so often and do some stuff. I mean, yeah, it is. Fuck Ibushi and Omega when they were doing their. I mean,
when those Gaijin teams were dominating the junior title tournament, a lot of people complained. And whatnot, but those openers on those big shows ruled every
they were incredible.
time.
Yeah. When it was the Red Dragon Young Bucks versus Time Splitters every single month for 2 years, we would come on this show and say, God damn, they're doing this match again. And then we'd, review the show and go, God damn, they had a great match again. And they're going to do it again, but who cares? It's great. So yeah, they came out there every single night and every big show opener, they went out there for, 15 to 16 minutes and fucking, did an incredible match. And it was awesome. And it was a great table setter for the rest of the show. I mean, those I can remember some of the matches that those guys
I'm not saying that Roppongi 3K has bad matches. I'm not saying they're a bad tag team. What I'm saying is they're the kings of the 3.25 star special. That's what they are.
Given how much they've been pushed and how accomplished they are, you think off the top of your head that they would be, that you could say, like I said, in a kayfabe sense, they're like one of the most accomplished, one of the greatest junior teams ever. But would you, with a straight face, if I said, Joe, is Roppongi 3K one of the best junior tag teams in New Japan or in Japanese wrestling history? You would laugh at me. You'd say, no, there's no way. Get out of here. And they probably should be at this point after being 5 years in the mix, in the top of the mix. And yeah, they haven't been.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I've probably enjoyed the Kanemaru Despi team more over the same period. That might be controversial. It might not be, but I just don't think the thing about Roppongi 3K is they've always been better on paper than in practice, I think. And at this point, and right now, I know I'm beating on them right now. I understand that. But because I do think they're stale, I think that as an act, I think it's the most stale act in Major League Professional Wrestling, with the possible exception of like The Miz or something like that. You know what I mean? So that could be why I'm being real hard on them right now. But I'm just sick of them. I'm sick of them as a team. I'm sick of them being in the title mix. They feel like the only change that we've seen in this team over the past 5 years is now they have entrance music that's like some kind of piano ditty.
Which is all-time bad theme music, by the way. This theme music is atrocious.
I don't really have a take on the music, but I mean, other than that and a minor like gear change since Yo came back from injury, it's the same fucking shit over and over, So I don't know. I think I hate having this conversation over and over, but it's time to break this fucking team up. I don't care if one turns on the other. I don't care if they just politely part ways. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care if one of them jumps to fucking GLEAT. That's your cue for a transition, Rich.
There we go.
All I care about is this team fucking ends. Next topic.
So are we still doing the GLEAT thing, or are we going to call it great? What are we doing here? I want to make sure that we are.
What am I supposed to call it? It's spelled GLEAT.
I think you're supposed to call it great, but I think, and I just want to establish this right now, I think you and I should continue calling it GLEAT. Mostly
It's spelled with an L.
I understand.
Why would I say great?
I understand that. There's some cultural reasons why it is pronounced great and not GLEAT.
Okay, is seedling really seedring?
That I don't know, actually. So that's a great question.
With all the fucking L's in the name?
That is a tremendous question for the fine folks at Jumping Bomb Audio on the Voice Wrestling Podcast Network, Taylor and Aaron. I do not know if it is seedling. I've always called it seedling, but now that you mention it,
everyone says that, not just us. Like,
now that you mention it, that might not be a bad idea. But I just want to establish what bit we're going to do here moving forward with GLEAT. I am all in favor of calling it GLEAT. I just want to make sure you're in favor of that.
No, listen. I am referring to this promotion as GLEAT until an authentic Japanese person tells me it's wrong.
Okay.
Because I think it's GLEAT. Also, I'd like to add that this isn't going to be much of a problem because after this segment, I'm probably never going to talk about GLEAT again.
Oh, no, come on. Well, so first, this is a big step, Joe. You have first off acknowledged GLEAT, which is good because all I've wanted you to do, similar to the tribal chief Roman Reigns, who One second. Yeah, hold on.
All right. Come here. What's up?
His mommy has on in his car, and he worked at a bank with him, and I saw his house, and he has like an evil granny game.
I have no clue what you're talking about. None.
It's like an evil granny game.
Who are you talking about?
Someone works at mommy's
Someone
bank.
who works at mommy's bank?
And I know.
Okay.
And I know.
Oh, this is a he, huh? Do I got to go break some
I was
ice?
going to say, uh-oh.
Who is this guy?
I know his name.
Listen, you keep your eye on him. You let me know you see any shenanigans, all right?
But he has like a granny game is like a nice one.
Okay, so there's some guy at mommy's bank that showed you a video game?
Yeah, I didn't.
I have another question. Was mommy there?
His house was instructed.
His house? What are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
A guy who worked at his bank, his house was not fully built yet. Because his house was still not built yet.
I gotta tell you, this is like the worst story I've ever heard. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think what I got is the man at TLB's work showed him a video game, but his house isn't built. I don't know how those are related.
Yeah, what is this?
I don't understand in between that, but I get that part at least.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't know what you're talking about. And on top of that, you got to hit the bricks because I'm on the air. So beat it. All right. I have no idea what any of that
You got to find out. That could be a problem.
I have no idea what a word of that meant. That was all over the place.
This kid's got to get his shit together. So, okay. So a man at mommy's work showed him a video game.
Yeah.
And his house isn't constructed yet.
And his house isn't built yet.
So
I don't know what any of that means.
I mean, are we talking, is this like what it may have been? I'm just trying to get into this kid's head. I wonder if he was playing like Animal Crossing or some sort of Sim City game or some sort of sim game. You know what I mean? To relate those two.
So maybe the house in the game wasn't
That's
built.
what I'm thinking, maybe, but I don't know. Like, I'm thinking the guy showed him like Animal Crossing, and he was like building his Animal Crossing house or whatever. Does that work? TLB drove with this random guy and looked at his house that's not built yet, which is also
all while showing him a video game.
Right? I can't figure out the video game construction house thing, but
Well, here's what's going to happen.
Maybe possibly a Minecraft thing. Maybe that's what he was showing him. Does he know about Minecraft? Every kid knows about Minecraft, but does he?
No, I don't let him watch Minecraft videos.
Okay, so maybe this guy showed him Minecraft, possibly.
So here's what happens. About 45 minutes into the show every week, which actually would be now, more like around 90 minutes into the show, TLB will sneak into this room and then to get to her closet, and she'll change. When she does it this time, I'm going to grill her on whatever this scenario is that the kid's babbling about, because I need to know what the hell he's talking. I have no clue. He came busting in the room too. Like
he couldn't wait. He could not wait to tell you the story. Yeah.
Yeah. And that just made no sense whatsoever.
My guess is it's Animal Crossing. Would be my guess, but
he said something about a granny. It's a game with a granny, and his house isn't built yet. What's he talking about?
Now
sounds like a terrible game.
What are you interested in, Nurse?
First of all,
Get
I
over
love Animal Crossing.
Uh-huh.
I'm great at it.
Okay.
Second of all, you bought Indian food.
Uh-huh.
I can't find the naan in the fridge.
It's over there. It's in the aluminum foil over there.
Just call it bread.
I thought you were going to have to stop this podcast and go buy some.
No. Why would I have to stop the podcast to go buy you?
Because you purchased Indian food without getting naan.
No, the naan's there. There's 4.
Just say bread.
There's 4 pieces of naan there.
Have you ever told this
Joe's
story?
upset about you calling it naan instead of bread. What do you think
Just
about that?
say bread.
First of all, it's naan, you uncultured swine. Second of all, the lady at the Indian food place literally thinks we have a family of 4 because of the amount of food we purchase each time from her.
Well, listen, I can't talk. I'm a gavone myself. So,
So we're trying to figure out Joe's boy ran into the room and he had to tell a story about a man at mommy's work who showed him a video game and then randomly turned into his house. He showed me his house and it's not built yet. It's still under construction. So we're wondering if those two are related or not. We think it's Animal Crossing. Or I think it's Animal Crossing.
I
Joe's
can see
not
it
sure.
be Animal Crossing.
Or Minecraft is what I have.
Or he literally showed him a video game and then he's like, oh, I'm also building this house for
See,
me
that
and
makes
my
no
wife.
sense. Like,
why would you tell a 4-year-old you're constructing a house?
yeah, the 4-year-old doesn't care
Because
about
maybe he was swiping in the pics and he was like, whoa, what's this? I don't know. He got a hold of the iPad and went wild, dude.
Do you think the 4-year-old's going to ask you how many square footage?
Right, yeah, you putting an in-ground pool in this thing or what?
It's going to be 1,200? Oh, my
what you
dad's
paid
house
per
is
acre?
bigger.
You know. Yeah, so I don't know.
Is this an attached garage or what are we talking here? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're right. In Animal Crossing, it takes a little bit to build the houses.
I'm thinking that's maybe what it is.
Because you have to get the supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Animal Crossing.
He said something about a granny, too. There's a granny.
Is there? I don't remember the Animal Crossing. That's kind of what I was going to ask you too.
I don't know. So
you got lazy on Animal Crossing. So.
Yeah, as soon as the rock climbing gym reopened, I dipped on Animal Crossing. Pretty early.
That was
in
a
the
pretty early
pandemic.
thing. Yeah.
Oh man, if I was gonna get COVID from the fucking hospital, I'm gonna go to the climbing gym, man. Come on. Anyway.
All right, go eat your naan.
Yeah, thank God. There's naan waiting. I can't be in this conversation.
Garlic naan,
anymore.
Joe. Garlic naan.
Yeah, garlic naan.
Yeah,
it's called garlic bread. No, it's fucking.
Yeah, if I called it garlic bread, I mean that.
Thin.
If I said, honey, I brought home garlic bread.
You're like, what the fuck is that?
You see the confusion? If I said I brought garlic bread home.
Yeah, listen, I'm willing to bet that naan translates to bread.
I mean, but this is your gelato thing. It's different though.
But it's not.
Okay, hold on. Oh,
okay,
all
listen.
right, bring her in. All right, we got nothing. Wrestling's terrible, so there's no need to talk about it. She's a big proponent. Okay, get in on this.
No,
Explain your ice cream to Yeah, here you go.
First
Joe,
off-
set the stage here. Stop. Calm down. Let Joe have the floor.
Let me hear you out because you're wrong. Go ahead.
You are aware that I am an Italian man, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
Been told that once or twice.
I picked up on it.
So even as an Italian, I think gelato is a scam because it's just fucking ice cream.
No, it has lower as a girl who cannot consume too much lactose. It doesn't have as much dairy in it.
Listen, I understand.
Based.
I understand it has nothing to do with the fruit.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the fruit. It has to do.
I'm gonna take the headphones off. You guys are good. You're good here. You got everything. I'm good.
Dairy mix. Now listen, I understand the slight ingredient difference.
Yeah.
No, don't. You're gonna. No, we can't.
Say gelato.
Look it up on your.
ice
No,
cream.
look it up on your phone.
Just
I can't.
ice cream with slightly different. It's still fucking ice cream.
No,
They call it
it's
gelato because
lighter.
They want to shake you down for more money. They want to be able to charge you $3.99 for the pint instead of $2.99. So they call it gelato. It's fucking ice cream. And this is coming from an Italian. This is coming from an Italian.
You're arguing with a girl who spent 2 weeks in Italy and ate ice cream minimally 3 times.
Did you eat ice cream or did you eat gelato?
Ice cream / gelato.
Oh, okay.
Minimally 3 times per day.
All right. So your 2 weeks in Italy outweigh my 40 plus years of life with Italian bread.
Ice cream is
He's
okay.
from the old
Wait. I want to ice
They
cream.
brought those Roma tomatoes over on the boat. The seeds. Why do you think
Is that true? I didn't know that. That's kind of interesting.
Why do you think New Jersey has the world's greatest tomatoes? Because it's the seeds from Italy when the wops
Is that
came
true?
over.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that
that's
fun
true.
fact.
We brought those seeds over. We taught the world how to eat. And you're going to tell me?
Gelato
2
is
weeks?
traditionally made with less fat Either can be part of a healthy diet when consumed occasionally or in moderation. I don't eat it in moderation. I eat both ice cream and gelato in excess. It's the base of my pyramid of my eating. I'm reading that ice cream's airier. I don't know about that.
It's just fucking ice cream. It's just ice cream. Stop being scammed by gelato. I'm an authentic Italian man. I'm trying to, this is for the world. I'm trying to help people here. As you know, Joe Lanza, if nothing else, enjoys helping people. And I'm just trying to help people save a little money. Don't overspend on anything labeled gelato. It's just fucking ice cream.
So I'm going to give you this argument at a 75% because shitty gelato is fucking ice cream. You're right. But
I appreciate that.
If you get that good ass gelato, like I go to Elmwood, you don't know what Elmwood Park is, but around here it's where all the Italians live. There's a gelato place there and it's fucking delicious and it outweighs any ice cream I've ever had because it's real gelato.
I appreciate that 75%.
Yes.
And I will also concede that the ingredient mix is slightly different.
Oh, okay. This is good. Wow.
Look it. We just came to
this is like the meme. This is the meme with like the handshake in there. You know what I mean? Or like
But you are right. If you're gonna waste your money on shitty gelato, just buy the ice cream. Because shitty gelato is just ice cream.
Thank you. Supermarket gelato.
Supermarket gelato is
Supermarket gelato. If you're in the supermarket, don't overspend on the gelato. But
because this all started because I used to send out pictures on Twitter of supermarket gelato and make fun of it because it's ice cream.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. Shitty gelato is just ice cream. But if you go to the real deal places, it's legit, then it's worth the gelato money.
This is how adults talk. And let me tell you something else. Not like that dopey 4-year-old that was in here. This is how adults talk. We get things done.
Well, adults would have told you what fucking video game it was.
I know. These 4-year-olds are absolutely...
You know what the problem is? I could see it in your eye. I could see it in the nurse's eye. She is leaving and going to get gelato and or ice cream. Immediately after this is over. I was just going to ask
if we could stop this podcast to go purchase some fucking gelato.
She's going to put a scoop of gelato on that naan as soon as she walks out.
That sounds amazing.
No, it doesn't. It's garlic naan. That sounds terrible.
Sounds disgusting. But
I'm willing to try it. Okay. But right now, the only thing I could get, without driving a half an hour, the only thing I get is supermarket gelato, so it's not worth the calories, you know? Or the money.
All right, now you can hit the bricks. Go
okay. There it is. The nurse, everybody. Enjoy the naan. If I said garlic bread, though, it'd be a complete disaster, right?
Okay, I will also concede this point, since I'm in a...
Yeah, you're in a good mood. Yeah, keep going, yeah.
Okay, naan undoubtedly is bread, but it's a specific kind of bread. I'll give you that.
Right. If I didn't clarify that I'd purchased naan, then it could be an issue. You know what I mean?
But I am an uncultured swine. Like, if I had Indian food here, I'd just be like, pass me the bread. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to call it naan. Same thing, like, if we order Chinese food, you know, it comes with the chopsticks. Those go right in the garbage.
Oh, you're not? Okay. Well,
I'm getting a fork. Okay, I'm not eating with chopsticks because I'm eating Chinese food. That's fucking weird.
Now, would that change? Like, if you ate sushi, would you eat it with chopsticks?
Well, number one, I'm not eating sushi.
I was going to say, you don't strike me as a sushi guy, so
no,
okay.
I'm not eating sushi. But no, I'm going to get a fucking fork. Or how do you eat sushi?
The chopsticks, yeah, with the chopsticks.
I'm not teaching myself how to use that.
That's not bad. I taught myself. Device. You can do it.
Okay, but these... Okay.
Yeah, they have the one, you can start, they have a kid's one that puts like a rubber band on it, and it makes it a lot easier to do. So.
Listen to me. Chopsticks were invented in like the year 900. Why would I still use these things? We have invented things that are better than chopsticks. So why would I go backwards thousands of years and use this archaic device when I have plenty of forks in my silverware drawer? I don't understand why people do this.
I'm with them. What are you cosplaying?
Are you cosplaying Genghis Khan? What are we doing?
Genghis Khan.
I don't understand.
I am not cosplaying Genghis Khan. You and your other, well, that was good. Never mind. I was gonna make a sex joke about Genghis Khan, but I remember his sex was less than
Yeah, isn't Genghis Khan like 9% of all humans?
Yeah, I think like everyone's got a little Genghis Khan in them, so he repopulated the world. So
listen, I respect it. You know, you're a man of that kind of power. You got to spread your seed. So
now I think it's the way that he went about spreading the seed. I think is probably one of the issues. But yeah.
Yeah. Joe Lanza's canceled again. What are you gonna do?
Right.
All right, so
there we go. We came to it. That was fantastic. I thought that was going to be a knockdown war. She had the screen out. She was scrolling, and then everybody just conceded. So she got hungry and just wanted to concede. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. Okay, there's the people in the chat room are buzzing. I don't care if authentic Chinese people in China use chopsticks. I'm not Chinese, and I don't live in China, so I'm not using the chopsticks. That's my point here. I'm not saying that people in China shouldn't be using chopsticks. I'm saying Joe Lanza should not be using chopsticks.
I will say as well, the food that we get as Americanized Chinese food is like not conducive to using chopsticks at all. Like a big hunk of chicken that's like glazed all. I mean, just use a fork.
Yeah. It's just ease. It's convenience. I learned how to use a fork when I was a boy. What are we doing here? I thought we were talking about GLEAT.
You want to talk about GLEAT? Let's talk GLEAT. Okay.
I don't, but you're making me.
Well, so first off, you've had to acknowledge GLEAT.
Well, yeah, it exists.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does exist.
Listen, the whole GLEAT doesn't exist. It's like when people say NXT UK doesn't exist. They know it exists, but it's a bit. You know what I mean? So yes, I will concede. I will acknowledge that GLEAT does in fact
now
exist.
I think you and I, we will now in this episode we are going to acknowledge that GLEAT exists. And I want to get your opinion on this. I don't think that Kaliga Pro exists. I know that they've ran 87 shows this month alone. I don't think they're real though.
Wait, who's run 87 shows?
That Kaligo Pro, that one that runs every day.
Oh, I've watched Kaligo. They run daily. Yeah, that's a real promotion.
That's not a real promotion. You're right.
They run every day. I've reviewed their matches. That's a real promotion.
So it's real. I guess it actually exists, but like real is, I guess, in the eye of the beholder. It is clearly a money washing operation that has no real purpose.
Who are you to doubt the bodyguard? That's number
That's true. It is the bodyguard. Okay. Yeah, he'd whoop my ass. He'd whoop my fucking ass. Yeah, that's true. I forget the bodyguard runs that shit. So
Kaliga was all the rage, but they got canceled for using Dylan James. So you don't have to.
Oh, is that what happened? Yeah, because people were all about Kaligo Pro, and then they stopped talking about it. Is that what happened?
Yes, they were canceled for using Dylan James.
Kaligo Pro is. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody running Kaligo Pro, they booked this guy, then someone said, whoa, guys, no, we can't. Dylan James is... We have decorum. There's a sense of decorum here in Kaligo Pro, guys.
Yeah.
We can't go be booking these guys that have questionable pasts.
They run every day, though, and it's on YouTube for free. So if you're a big Kaliga Pro guy, you've got wrestling to watch every day. So, and a lot of these low-level indie scummers and guys that are from promotions that have died and whatnot, they've got a place to work every day.
And now when you say they're running every day, I just want to point out that Joe is not being facetious. They run every day. They run every day.
Every single day. Yeah.
Why? I don't know.
They got their little building, the Kaliga, what's it called?
It's got a cool name to it. I forget. It's some sort of Kaliga.
Yeah.
Kaliga something or another, yeah. It is a wild promotion that I can't. I guess I will address that it does exist, but the Kaligo Studio, I thought it was a lot cooler than that. It's just Kaligo Studio, so
not all that cool. It's not all that cool.
Yeah. Tanizaki Dolphin was on the last show.
Yeah,
Andy Wu and the Bodyguard in their main event.
I'm telling you, it's not that bad.
Bambi versus Saki.
Well,
that sounds terrible.
You said
all be Billy Ken Kid? Oh, hey, hold on a minute. I didn't know those guys are in there.
Listen, there's stuff you got to skip, but it's sometimes it's not that bad.
Okay.
Like listen, every now and then when I'm totally caught up and there's no baseball on, maybe once a week or so, I'll look at the last few Kaliga shows and I'll see if there's something worth watching. Is their YouTube page still active? Because they were putting shows up every day.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So it's not that bad.
They don't have an actual link. So when you go to Cage Match, like what I mean, like how some channels, like our channel, will be like youtube.com/voices of wrestling or whatever. Like I guess they don't have enough followers to do that yet. So it's just youtube.com/%E3 %A2 %P3. It's just their long ass. How like every promotion has there's just some long ass URL.
Yeah. No.
It's just perfect.
no mini link. What do you call it? The hyperlink. What do you call the link? The shortened link. What do you call that?
Just a short link or whatever. Yeah, you can call it a short link or something.
You just call it a short link. I just said myself what it's called. They don't do that. They just keep.
They got no time for that. Yeah, it's just all there. It's incredible. So
percentage, exclamation, percentage. 974 percentage exclamation hyphen like that and there's like 1,000 characters it's just so that's Kaliga.
Well, that's Kaliga, and they are real. I will now address that they are real because we have addressed that GLEAT is also real. So tying this all in, 45 minutes ago we were talking about Show and Yo. Show is going to appear at GLEAT July 1st, Tokyo Dome City Hall show. You have exclusive details about that over at patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling about how it happened, who let it happen, who was involved in making it happen, who was also considered to be on that show and all that sort of stuff. But it's pretty cool. That show's going to be there. He's going to be facing Ito. It'll be one of GLEAT's UWF Rules matches. So the show itself is not going to be one of the UWF shows, which I guess we'll have to explain that here in a bit. But it is going to be contested under UWF Rules, the show versus Ito match.
I think it's an 8-match show, and 4 are GLEAT rules. 4 are UWF rules. It makes me sick talking about GLEAT, first of all. I just want you to know that. But
can I let you know that I watched a lot of GLEAT today?
Okay, listen.
I watched like 4 or 5 GLEAT matches. So
I watched tons of fucking pointless, useless wrestling. I can't bury it. Because GLEAT is not going to exist. It's only a matter of time. This is my point on GLEAT. Look at the people in charge of it. It's a vagabond group of fucking wrestlers who bounce from dead promotion to dead promotion, leaving dead promotions in their wake. The guys on the top of this pyramid, okay? There is a graveyard of dead promotions left in these men's wake. It's owned by Ledette, which doesn't exactly have the strongest history. It's just another one of these fly-by-night, dopey Japanese promotions that I will acknowledge the existence of, but I will not pay any real attention to unless they exist for 5 years. 5 years.
5 years. Okay, so 5 years from the opening of GLEAT is what you're saying.
Look what else. Yes. Look what else is working against them.
We're still on VO. Is like all their shows are still like pre-shows technically. Yes. They haven't officially said that they've had a V1. They haven't technically had their quote unquote first show yet. They're all VO shows. All these ones so far. So
they're one of these groups that doesn't even run regularly. They are starting up during a fucking pandemic that isn't going away anytime soon in Japan. Okay? They're owned by Ledette. The guys at the top are all fucking blood-sucking hustlers.
How dare you?
Who have killed countless other promotions.
You leave Kaz Hayashi alone. So.
And listen, when this thing inevitably dies, they're going to bounce to the next set of money marks and start something up. And the same thing is inevitably going to happen there too. I am not going to pay attention to GLEAT until they prove that they're stable and they do in fact run regularly and they fully. Because Rich, how many listen? It's like the Who. I can't be fooled again. How many times have we played this game with these promotions over the years? And then they wither into nothingness or they just die completely.
Right. Yeah. That is one funny thing is that what always happens with these and people always argue with us and it's like, no, we've been doing this show for 10 fucking years. We've had countless numbers of promotions. We lived through the entire life cycle of Wrestle One on this show. You know what I mean? Like we lived through all of it. And most of those guys are here again. All those blood-sucking leeches that you were talking about. Yeah. They're here again. Like they're all the same dudes just over and over again. With the exception of Muto, who's now blood-sucking another company. That's not related. But I'm sure once that ends, he'll be popping up over to GLEAT in a bit to get every last bit of dollar that he can. But like, we've lived through a lot of these. And what happens in every single one of these is they pop up. Everybody laughs and goes, oh, this is good. And then what happens is we get this sort of like, people joke about it and they kind of laugh about, oh, this company is actually good. And and then they start believing that it's actually good. And then they start, these dumb matches that nobody cares about that have, in front of nobody that have complete irrelevancy. Then we get this is the real match of the year was this GLEAT match, between Funaki and Kaz Hayashi. This is the greatest match of the year. I'm going to vote it number 1 on my match of the year. Match of the year comes, it gets no votes, nobody votes for it, it's completely irrelevant. We do it over and over again, and then in 2 years they're dead, is essentially how they always go, every single time.
The most annoying thing about GLEAT is that they're going to do these UWF rules shows,
which is definitely a recipe for success. I mean, you can
sure.
just
That's
it never stops working. Dusting off the corpse of the UWF for the last 35 years has definitely worked every single time for sure.
I forgot about that. A dead style that has killed many promotions.
7 or 8 different promotions.
So you can stack that on
including
top of
almost killing New Japan Pro Wrestling, but yeah.
Yes. So you can stack that on top of all of the other things that are working against this right off the bat. But the fact that they're doing these UWF rules shows means that all of these shitty grapple fuck 2-star specials that they're inevitably going to pump out are going to get all overhyped by everybody. And then we have to deal with that nonsense. So, no, this is why I am anti-GLEAT. Am I making compelling arguments at least?
A little bit. I guess I will be doing our coverage of the GLEAT's July 1st show. I will watch that show and talk about it because I watched a good little Strong Hearts match. Saw some Shima in there, some Shima and some Strong Hearts. That was fun. I watched a little GLEAT and I enjoyed it.
I'm not saying they don't have talent.
Yeah, they got talent for sure.
They got a nice little roster. Okay.
You're just scared to get invested, and I get it, Joe. Your heart has been broken many times.
This is hopeless. Look at all these things working against it. It's hopeless. It's not going to make it. Why is this going to make it when all the others didn't? It's not going to make it.
Now, what definitely is going to make it, though, I should say, is Atsushi Onita's new deathmatch promotion that's starting next month, too. That one is definitely going to work because that is also proven track record of success. Is deathmatch wrestling is always just working tremendously well in Japan. So,
yeah, in 1993.
Right.
Yeah. That's another one.
Tarzan Goto, yeah, that's gonna work.
I don't want to talk bad about Onita, but it's not gonna make it. What's the over/under on shows for the new FMW or whatever he's called?
3 maybe. 2.5. So, I would set the line at 2.5, and I think you could make good money on the under on that one for sure.
I'll take the under on that one. Under 2.5 for sure. Yeah. I mean, because I'll have one show.
Yeah, well, they definitely have the one. There's the July 4th one. I forget what it's called. It's like Fireworks Fuck or something like that. It's some interesting name. So.
Again, great idea in the middle of where you can't only draw half houses. Good idea.
Right.
It's very wise to start something up. So how's Onita making money off this is the question. Who's paying him an enormous sum of money?
I don't have an answer to that one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
And then they'll have a second show, which is where whoever's fucking putting up the money for this thing loses the rest of their money, and then they'll never run another show. That's what'll happen. So I'm going to take the under on that 2.5, pretty confidently too.
I'm trying to.
She's all right with the naan back there.
She's all right. She's dropping.
Yeah.
Up the whole liter of water. Yeah, she's shook.
Well,
she's shook about this. She's just her mind is thinking ice cream. I bet is the problem. So,
gelato. Fake item.
So anything else on show competing in GLEAT that you want to touch on here?
No, I mean $5 tier. I got the full story, who pitched it, how the deal came together, what some other details you're not going to see anywhere else on the show to GLEAT. There's nothing really else to it for now, but it doesn't mean there can't be more in the future, but you can read the full story, patreon.com/voicesofwrestling.
We got some good, the chat room bringing up some ones that I completely forgot about. Guts World. Remember Guts World when people pretended that was a thing for a little while?
Yeah.
You were a Guts World guy though, right? You liked Guts World.
No. I had that one match that was very good. There was Black Buffalo versus shit.
Oh yeah. Right. You made me watch that for like a Joe and Rich recommend matches to each other and it fucking rocked. Yeah, that was good. That was
Yeah, but
Pro Wrestling Masters. There was that Diamond Ring. If we're going back a little bit further,
Diamond Ring was
Kensuke Sasaki's. Yeah.
Changed their name to Diamond Ring, but then it ended up folding. Yeah, I have to find that Black Buffalo match.
What was the Kenta Kobashi one that ran for a little while? It wasn't Masters. Fortune Dream. That was it. Yeah.
Okay, here's TLB.
Okay. Oh, can't wait. Okay.
We need information, and we need it badly. Okay. The boy comes charging into the room when you got home. Okay. He comes running over here. He says, Daddy, there's a man at mommy's work. First of all, you need to explain yourself. He says, there's a man at mommy's work, and he had a video game with a granny, and he also has a house that isn't built yet. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? None of this makes any sense. What's he talking about?
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's no threat. I'm so relieved. Anyway.
He's talking about Abel.
Yeah.
He on has having car trouble. So today he's like dropped off at work. His car won't start again. And he's like, I guess my friend or my roommate or whatever ride home. So I told him I'd give him a ride home tonight. He lives on the road. So he rode home with the kids and they had a long conversation about video games and all kinds of things. And then when I dropped him off his apartment up the road, where it's whatever.
Yeah.
There's construction right there, like on some entry parts, I think where it lives. And so I guess that's why he said like it's not even built yet, because it's like it looks like they're redoing the porch or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, when we left there, she's like, I want to live in a hotel, and I'm like, it's an apartment. It was cute, but the whole way there was insane. Like he was talking to him and talking about video games and stuff. And I still gum and chew it. I do that all the time. Like he was trying to impress. It was funny.
He's trying to impress the older.
Like,
yeah.
I still gum and I chew it.
I steal gum and I chew it. He told him this. Okay.
And he's talking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where the granny came in. All right, it all makes sense now. Okay.
And I can't. That's not child appropriate. So.
Okay. So
anyway,
all right. It all makes sense now. That's the first thing. The second thing is the story still stinks, unfortunately. But
the story is unfortunately
it all
terrible,
makes sense now, though. So now I understand what he was saying. Yeah, so that's good. All right. Abel listens to this sometimes. He might hear this. Yeah. Yep.
He will listen to it now when I tell him.
All right.
I'm trying to remember if we buried him or not. I don't think we buried him. Yeah, he can listen.
Every download counts, so I'm not complaining.
Tell him to tell his family. Patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling. Yeah.
I did say, he's no threat when she said that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, is he going to find that endearing or no?
Well, I guess we'll find out. Tune in next week. But is that the end of the GLEAT segment? I really can't do any more.
I think we're done. Yeah, I think we're done with GLEAT. We're done with the callbacks to stories. So that was a pretty not a great story. So
no, so she gave the guy a ride home in the car. He talked about video games with the kid, and when they dropped him off at his apartment, there was some construction going on next door. So the kid assumed that his house wasn't built yet because that's where he got dropped off. That's what happened.
Okay.
And it was an apartment building. So the other kid said, I want to live in a hotel too.
Yeah.
Because she thought the apartment building was a hotel.
So there we go. Kids. Kids, am I right? Is the best way to say that. So
yes.
We are done with GLEAT. That is potentially the last time Joe will acknowledge GLEAT. July 1st, Tokyo Dome City Hall. They have a pretty big show there. We'll see if Joe.
Hey, Brittany, the people want to know, when are you going to do some audio? Yeah. That was a very Texas thing to say.
That was fantastic.
And I hope that didn't catch on the.
Oh, I heard it.
Everybody
hear? I heard it. I heard it. Yeah.
I know you look very Texas right now too. Yeah. Yeah.
Today.
All right. Okay, you can hit the bricks now too. All right. Oh, really? Are you gonna bury me?
I know they want to. I would love that.
They probably would love that. You're not wrong. All right. Beat it. All right.
That was good. I guess you have the name for your show now. If TLB does do it,
what would that name be?
I'll do some audio. Shoot. Is that what you said? I heard audio. Shoot.
That's unfortunately correct.
Yes, incredible.
I was hoping that wouldn't.
That's the name of the show. I'll do some.
Yeah.
TLB does some audio. Shoot. That was good.
That
was cute. Shoot. That was cute, Texas. Yeah, I like that.
It has a wrestling tie-in too. Shoot.
Yes. Right. Yeah, you can talk shoot style. You can talk UWF. Yeah.
She's a big GLEAT fan. She wants to talk show versus Ito. Shoot. That's what she meant there. Save the show, Rich.
All right. Keeps. We are sponsored by Keeps this week. They paid us money for the show for some reason. Keeps. Hello, guys. So much of our identity is wrapped up in our hair, from how it feels to getting a fresh cut to the way it's perfectly styled going out. That's why when we get in our 20s and in our 30s and we start noticing that first sign of hair loss, it definitely feels like panic time, because let's face it, no guy ever wants to go bald. Thankfully now there is Keeps, the simple and easy way to keep your hair. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they are 35, and the best way to prevent it is to do something about it when you still have hair left. You used to have to go to the doctor's office for your hair loss prescription, but now, thanks to Keeps, you don't have to do that. You can visit a doctor online and get hair loss medication delivered right to your door. They make it easy and deliver your medication every 3 months, so you could say goodbye to the pharmacy checkout lines, the awkward doctor visits, hitting the damn button at the pharmacy. It's all terrible. You don't have to do that anymore. Keeps offers generic versions of 2 FDA-approved hair loss products, and you may have tried them before, but never for this price. And again, as we said, prevention is key. Keeps treatments typically take between 4 to 6 months to see results, so it's important to act fast. The sooner you start using Keeps, the more hair you'll save. You can find out today why Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors, and more than 100,000 men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention medication. Keeps treatments start at just $10 per month, and plus, this is the best part, for a limited time only, you can get your first month free. The way you do that is you go to keeps.com/VOW. You receive your first month of treatment for free. That's KEEPS.com/VOW. Again, keeps.com, KEEPS.com/VOW to get your first month of Keeps for free. So we thank them for sponsoring this show. Of all shows, they sponsored this show. But thank you guys for doing that. They didn't know. How could they have known what was going to happen? Oh, we're getting another run in there. We're good. All right. What do you want to talk about, Joe? You want to talk about WWE? I really don't want to talk about WWE, but I guess we probably should have at some point.
We were going to lead off with that. I don't know what the hell happened.
Do we have anything better to talk about? Do we have to talk about WWE?
I mean...
All right, let's do it. Hell in a Cell.
Okay, now hold on. Isn't it Hell in the Cell?
I don't think it's Hell in a Cell.
It's called Hell in a Cell.
No, Hell in a Cell.
What about the show name is Hell in the Cell?
No, it's not.
It's not, you sure?
No, I'm positive it's not.
Hell in the Cell.
It's Hell in a Cell.
The name of the show. Hell in a Cell.
Hell
not
in
Hell
a
in
Cell.
the Cell.
Never Hell in the Cell.
Oh. Are you sure it's never been Hell in the
I
Cell?
don't, I can't confirm that it never has been, but I don't think so. I don't believe it was ever Hell in the Cell. They may have advertised the first one as Hell in the Cell, but as far as I recall, they have all been Hell in a Cell. So
you both furiously Google.
I'm seeing if I could find it, but I have not been able to find it yet. So
okay, Hell in a Cell. Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay, so that's what they had on Sunday on streaming live on Peacock TV and the WWE Network. VoicesOfWrestling.com/express, by the way, if you're try to get away from the Peacock and go back to your good old confines of the WWE Network. You can do that at voiceswrestling.com/express. But yeah, what'd you think of this Hell in the /A Cell show? It was definitely 2 hours and 45 minutes of something that kind of resembled wrestling, I think.
It was horrendous.
It was pretty bad. It was not good. So.
Some of the worst finishes you'll see in your life. It was terrible.
This is a murderer's row of finishes. This was classic. Like, we have a pay-per-view. We don't really want to do any of these finishes. We don't really want to beat anybody. We don't really have any conclusions to any of these matches or any of these feuds or anything going on. So we're just going to find a way to get out of them without really doing anything at all. And hopefully people don't even notice or they don't even care. And then they just watch Money in the Bank and hope that this is the month that things are going to turn around. But this was pretty horrendous. This was pretty bad. I feel bad. A lot of the work on this show, I would say, was solid. Like it wasn't, great. There was no match that I would consider great, but I think the work itself was solid throughout. But it was just, it's just a horribly booked promotion, and the finishes are all atrocious. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think the work was all that great in some of the matches. I just thought this was a bad show. And they had Money in the Bank. They had part of the Money in the Bank card ready like 8 minutes later. So they're clearly focused on Money in the Bank and not Hell in a Cell, because this felt like a show that was like a holding pattern for Money in the Bank. So, no, it wasn't good at all. I mean, I can't imagine giving this a positive review.
No. We'll start at the main event here, and this was the WWE title Hell in a Cell match. Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. This was, if Drew did not win, this is his last chance at ever getting the title from Bobby Lashley. He'll never be able to get a chance at this title again as long as Bobby Lashley holds it. They go out there. They have a standard, exactly what you would assume a Bobby Lashley-Drew McIntyre match would be, which is 20 minutes. That's not bad. It's not great. It's just like perfectly acceptable main event WWE wrestling. Drew's good. Bobby Lashley's good. And that's all it was. And then, then you get shenanigans. You get a ref bump. You get a new ref that comes into the cell, which of course, I mean, there's just no doubt in your mind that when they drop the cell down, someone's getting into the cell somehow, some way. Perfectly legal, by the way. I heard that a lot during the show, especially when we'll talk about it during the opener, which I think they did it at least 15 times in the opener, mentioned that it was perfectly legal. So they let the new referee in. MVP follows the new referee in, and then they lock the cage door with MVP inside of it for some reason. And then Drew beats up MVP. You assume, oh, that's the end of MVP. But nobody actually assumes that because then, of course, Drew McIntyre has the win. MVP grabs the referee, slides him out, distracts Drew. Bobby Lashley hits the move. It's over. Drew McIntyre can never go for the title again.
Yes.
So there you go. I think they've done this finish. They've done this finish at least 4 or 5 times in this feud alone.
Why did they make these two men work so hard to do a MVP distraction finish in a Hell in a Cell match? We don't even. It's like you didn't even acknowledge. It's not your fault. How utterly absurd that this all was. How is there a manager distraction finish in this match to begin with? Like, why? That's the point of the cell, is it not?
It is the point of the cell, yes, is that there shouldn't be anybody, but they long have established, WWE, literally from the opening match, is that cell door is going to open at some point and the guys are going to go out. You know what I mean? Like, from day one, they established that on these Hell in a Cell things. So it's just like, I want to get upset about it, but it's like, they've always done this. So, it's this company, man. I don't know. Arm's length, like you always say.
They've also had 4 Hell in a Cell matches in like 5 days.
I can't do it. It's done nothing. It's done very little for the ratings at all. But, hey.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. So SmackDown went up to over 2 million viewers for Roman versus Ray Hell in a Cell. You're not impressed with that?
Pros bring a little extra to everything they do. So do we. It's called Pro Extra, the Home Depot's loyalty program built just for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like Pro Extra dollars or a tool rental credit, plus other great benefits that save time and money. With Pro Extra, the more you spend, the more you earn. Get $20 off your next purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Sign up on the Home Depot mobile app.
Better sleep means a better you. That's why Mattress Firm made the Rest Assured Promise, featuring the best mattresses from America's best brands. For a limited time, save $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattresses and sleep 8 degrees cooler. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Our sleep experts have over 200 hours of training, so you can rest assured we'll find the right bed for you. Only at Mattress Firm, America's #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
Okay.
I'm here. Sorry.
Rick is. Oh, there he is.
I'm sorry. Dog issue. We're back. Good. Not a bad dog issue. No, we're good. Not a bad dog issue. Just a barking fit that I thought would stop, and it didn't. So
I would have kept talking. I thought I was disconnected until the chat room told me I was still on.
So I'm so sorry.
Okay. So what I said was, let's talk about that. Over 2 million for SmackDown. Yeah. Roman Reigns versus Rey Mysterio, Hell in a Cell. You're not impressed with that?
I'm fine, but like this is always the issue with these. I'm never impressed by any single week rating, and this is AEW, this is WWE, this is all this stuff. If there's no momentum following it, it doesn't matter. I mean, if 1 week you pop a number, we have in the old days. What used to happen is when and WWE would do this for years and years. What they would do is when ratings got bad, they would then decide, okay, we got to bring back X. We have to do X. We got to do this. They would do something. And what would happen is that something, whatever something would be, would pop a rating. And then what would happen is then for like 4 or 5 weeks after that, the ratings would be better than usual. Like people stuck around. That never happens anymore. They bring everybody. They bring Stone Cold. They bring The Rock. They do everything they can to bring a guy in. And what's going to happen is that 1 week, Ric Flair or Stone Cold or Hulk Hogan or the Rock or whatever will come that 1 week, or The Undertaker, whatever, will come that 1 week. the rating will do okay, like this one, where, hey, you do a Hell in a Cell, you essentially fucking bait and switch a pay-per-view, and say, fuck it, no, you're not getting that match of the pay-per-view, you're getting it on SmackDown. So they put that on SmackDown, they put a pay-per-view, like a legit pay-per-view main event, jokes aside about the Rey Mysterio angle or whatever, a legit pay-per-view a main event, quote unquote. You put that on SmackDown, you get 2 million, and maybe I'll be wrong, maybe we'll see, and then next week it carries and then momentum, but I am pretty sure that it's going to go right back to what it was doing before, especially on a Friday when I believe that they're going to be going head-to-head with another NBA game, a pretty big NBA game as well. The rating's just going to go right back down, and we'll just carry on like nothing ever happened. And no, I'm not impressed. Like, the answer is I'm not impressed, because these things never sustain. They never actually matter. They just pop a number for 1 week because people go, oh, cool, pay-per-view main event on SmackDown. I'll check this out. They check it out, and then they never watch it again.
Well, Hell in a Cell was undoubtedly the reason SmackDown was up.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
But shouldn't it have been up more?
Probably, yeah. It's the main event of like a pretty, what I would consider, like, my, all joking aside that we did last week, like, it's a decently built, it's your biggest star on SmackDown versus one of your top baby faces. Again, that's an issue, that Rey Mysterio is one of your top baby faces, but like, it should have probably done a little bit better than, like, what did it gain?
Couple 100,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say 100,000 to 200,000 people. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So
like,
I feel like it undoubtedly, quote unquote, popped the number, but it wasn't up that much. And on Monday, it didn't really do anything for Raw. Now, granted, that had no build. They announced it
during the show, yeah.
Right. So, and it was also the fourth Hell in a Cell match in in 4 days. So people were kind of Hell in a Celled out after seeing 2 at the pay-per-view and 1 on Friday, right? So, and it was Xavier Woods. I mean, nobody cares about Xavier Woods. So it's like you can kind of give, but at the same time, it's a Hell in a Cell match, right? It should move numbers to some degree, and it didn't. Raw just did what it always does. So my point here is they've completely killed this gimmick, right?
Yeah. Oh, and I think honestly, they killed it about 15 years ago, but it's this last week, they've beaten it dead completely. I mean, 2 matches that were not very good in a Hell in a Cell. I like the opener. We'll talk about it in a little bit. And I like the main event, but not really like, dangerous matches on any level, just kind of a match that had a cage around it. You know what I mean? It essentially wasn't much different than any other kind of main event or any other good match that they have. And guys interfere, and then you do it, 4 times in 4 days or whatever. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, if it's not, if it wasn't dead 15 years ago, it's absolutely dead now.
So have we gotten to the point where it's actually smarter business if you're going to do a big angle like they did with Roman and Rey? I don't know if you saw the match. Did you see the match?
I did not. I did not see the match.
Okay, so they did. Roman beats him, of course, and it's a totally nondescript Hell in a Cell match. I mean, it was just nothing to it. It was a nothing match. So Roman beats him, and they do a callback to Roman power bombing Dominic out of the ring the week before. He power bombs Rey out of the ring, but into the cage, then drags him back into the middle of the ring and puts him in his new like cravat-like finisher that he's trying to get over, this submission hold. Okay. And then they did a big angle where he beat up Rey afterwards or whatnot. So what I'm getting to is it now to the point where it's smarter business because of Peacock and that being a fixed cost, right? Where you're not necessarily trying your hardest, no matter what they say publicly, to increase subscriptions and all that. Because it doesn't really matter all that much to you because you're getting your billion, right? Is it smarter business to put something on TV where 2 million people will have their eyeballs on it if you want to run a big angle like that, as opposed to putting it on Peacock where we know 2 million people won't be seeing it?
Yeah, no, for sure. And we talked about with AEW, like we've entered a new era in wrestling right now, and AEW I think is going to protect it a little bit, not maybe go overboard with doing it, and they can do it a little bit easier because they're doing quarterly pay-per-views or whatever. But we saw from the last announcement and all that sort of stuff is that they're going to do regular kind of TV specials as a way to kind of build towards what they consider a major event, but have it still be on television. But no, from WWE standpoint, absolutely. I mean, that's what I would do too. I would. We can kind of complain about Hell in a Cell being a nothing sort of thing, and it's probably going to take a little while for us to kind of readjust, and we'll see what happens when fans come back. But as it stands right now, no, I think it does make total sense to appease your Foxes and your NBCs by popping ratings on Mondays and trying to get more viewers that way than burying good matches and good shows on Peacock when there's no discernible way to tell. Yeah, I'm sure there's metrics that Peacock has that, X amount of people watch this or whatever, but I don't know, it's loose. Like, it's not.
I'm sure they're sharing information with each other.
Right, but like, again, like, you can't tell that, you don't know that is because you know that people are watching that, but I think at the end of the day, Peacock wants new people to subscribe, and as long as they're getting X amount of subscribers every single month, no matter what's creating it, I don't think they care. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right. Yeah,
they don't give a shit if 1,000 people are doing it because of the Friends reunion, or 10,000 people are doing it because of the Friends reunion, or 5,000 people are doing it because of WWE. At the end of the day, you're all part of the content platform, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Okay, we got 30,000 new subscribers this month. That's fine. That's all we wanted. Yeah. Or whatever their internal metrics are, or whatever.
Friends reunion was HBO Max, sir.
Oh, that's right. Who knows
point
anymore?
Is taken. Well, see, Friends was on NBC.
I was going to say, why is it not on Peacock? I honestly thought it was on Peacock. So all right.
Well, my whole thing is, I think without question, less than 1 million people, less than 1 million people watched Hell in a Cell. And I base that on the fact that the network had 1.2 million subscribers when they turned it over to Peacock. I think they easily lost 200,000 or 300,000 in the transition and didn't get them back. And then, even if there's 1 million people who were ex-WWE Network subscribers who did convert to Peacock, they all didn't watch Hell in a Cell. So you're talking about less than 1 million people. I think I would be willing to bet less than 1 million people watched Hell in a Cell on Peacock. So if you're going to do a big angle, why not do it on Fox?
Right.
Where 2 million people are going to see it. So this could be a trend moving forward with some of the lesser B pay-per-views, especially ones like this that they clearly didn't give a fuck about. Just look at the finishes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at a certain point, similar to AEW, I think they're going to have their charter shows that they're going to SummerSlam. They're going to try to blow out and make a big deal. WrestleMania, they're obviously going to try to blow out and make a big deal. Royal Rumble will always be a big deal. And then I don't know. I mean, Survivor Series has kind of never been that big of a deal. It was a big deal for a little while, but that kind of fell out of favor pretty quickly too. So I don't know. Like, it might just be those three, or maybe it's Money in the Bank. Is one that they consider as well. But yeah, no, that I think. And that's smart. It's smart business, honestly. In 2021, with the way their business is, I'm moving a Hell in a Cell match to SmackDown to get 2 million people to watch instead of hoping that I get 800,000 people watching it on Peacock. That money's already paid for and good. And yeah, the TV money's already paid for and good. But you always want to try. You always got to have something to go to the table with the next time that TV money's up. So.
And the Peacock money's paid for what, 5 years?
Right, and at the end of the day, I mean, unless things dramatically change in the kind of the content platform and the content and all that sort of stuff, is like, at the end of the day, what you're going to, say they don't renew with Peacock and HBO Max calls them or Netflix calls them or whatever the hell the landscape is in 5 years, WWE will say, oh, we have 2,000 hours of content, and that's all. That's the sell job right there.
But 5 years is a fucking eternity.
Yeah, who the hell knows? I mean, what happened 5 years ago at this time? It was,
right. So, that's the other thing. So I just think that this is something people need to keep an eye on. This was the first of what I'm going to think are many times where you're going to see big pay-per-view matches done on TV instead, because it's just everything is different now, and the rules have changed, and it's actually smarter to put it on TV.
Do you think this was something that they had? I guess this is the question too. Did they have this planned all along, or was this a rash last minute? Oh shit, let's put it on SmackDown.
It feels like they changed their mind because they only had like a 2 or 3 day build for the SmackDown match. And if it was at the plan all along, why would you not do a longer build?
Yeah, I don't know. While I'm thinking about it in my head, I'm wondering if maybe there is something, and I don't think that they think this hard, but maybe they did, is that there might be something to getting people anticipating that it's going to be on this pay-per-view, on this major show, and then doing oh wait, never mind, we're going to do it right now. Like, this was a pay-per-view quality match, but now it's on SmackDown, now it's on TV, and giving it that prestige where it felt like it was reserved for the show, and then in the last minute it's like, well, we have no choice, we're going to put it on Friday. Like, there might be something to that. I don't know if that's actually an effective strategy.
I don't think it is. I think it would have been better to tell people the Friday before that next week you're going to see this match.
Right. I would agree. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know if internally they thought it was a good idea to kind of make it seem like it's we're possible. Doing you guys a favor. Oh my God, we have no choice. We're going to put this on Friday. We were going to put it on Sunday, but we have no choice. We're going to put it on Friday now because, versus if you just say, hey, this match is going to be on TV, then it's just a TV match.
I mean, I can't answer that. In my opinion, no, I wouldn't do it that way. I'd give it the longest build possible.
Oh, I agree, and that's how I would always approach wrestling is build, and tell people when it's coming and tell people about a big show. So I'm with you that if they did it the other way, and still got 2 million, it kind of shows that maybe they did it, that 2 million in spite of the build, because it wasn't even what was it? We were doing the show. Yeah, we were doing the show last Thursday when they announced it. So
it was like a 1 day build.
Yeah,
or
like
something.
36-hour build or something like that.
And then they gave the one away on Monday. Not like during the show. It was like they didn't announce that until the show had already started. So they've killed Hell in a Cell as like a big time gimmick. There's no question about that. Because again, I'm not even all that impressed with the number that they drew on Friday.
No.
So, and the other thing was, the word is, at least the last that I heard, is that the Rey Roman match was the exact finish that would have happened on the pay-per-view, which tells you that at some point it was planned for the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And what they probably thought was, okay, this is the biggest angle we have for the pay-per-view. Why don't we just move this thing to Friday for the reasons I said before, to get more eyeballs on it? We'll pop a little number, more people will see it. We'll continue to push Roman for either Cena or The Rock or whatever the final or Dominic, whatever the final destination may be with him. Drew, your theory from last week, that maybe Drew ends up over there in the draft. Who knows? But, especially if Drew wins Money in the Bank, but he can't challenge Lashley, it makes sense to draft him over to the other show, right?
Absolutely.
But then he can use the fucking gimmick. So your theory kind of makes a lot of sense there now. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. That's 4 Hell in a Cell matches in 4 days. And that was a little bit of ratings talk.
Yeah, seems like a lot. Seems like a little too much, if you ask me.
We can't move on from the main event before we bring up the crash pad.
Yes. So I was gonna mention the crash pad spot. So if people did not see this, this started out on Sunday being the hand spot, where people realize the fuck is there's like, so what happened is Bobby Lashley chokeslammed Drew McIntyre out of the ring through a table. And then it cut to Drew McIntyre writhing in pain outside of the ring, and there's just a hand in there, and people are like, "Would I just see a hand?" And then little by little, screenshots came out where people were rewinding their Peacock, saying, "Yeah, there was some dude's hand just like, appearing in outside of the ring or whatever." And then little by little, we kind of get it together where people start looking at the GIF and start looking at stuff and say, "Oh, I think I know what happened here." They put Drew McIntyre through a table, but he also went through a crash pad. And then what they did is this guy that was under the ring, the stagehand that was under the ring, yanked the crash pad away and then left Drew kind of writhing in pain in the middle of the table. But they cut too early and you still got the guy's hand in there. So that is the scenario that played out. So you get a hand, you get Drew McIntyre going through a crash pad. That was led to a lot of reactions about crash pads in wrestling and the effectiveness, the use, if it's good, if it's bad. Where do you stand on Drew McIntyre using a crash pad or WWE deciding to use a crash pad for this Drew McIntyre spot?
That's to me, that's not pro wrestling. It's one thing to gimmick something up for a big stunt. This is just a standard table spot in the middle of a match. I mean, on one hand, okay, there's no fans there, so we can make it as safe as possible for these guys. They're in a hard physical match. So I understand that. But on the other hand, that's not pro wrestling. You know what I mean? It's like, that's a little too, what's the word I'm looking for? Not contrived. It's a little too, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but that's just a bridge too far for me. To start doing crash pads in the middle, to soften standard pro wrestling spots. Not a guy falling off the top of a cage, where I don't even like the crash pads for that stuff. I'd just rather not do the spots.
Right, and that's what I was going to say, is if you're worried about concerns in a wrestling match, then maybe just don't do the spot. Like if you're saying, well, geez, guys, it's unsafe to be thrown off the top of a cell. It's like, well, yeah, it's unsafe to be thrown off the top of a cell. Like maybe just don't do it. Maybe just figure out something else to do then instead of that. That's where I stand on it. If you're worried about the spot, then just don't do it. It's not necessary.
Hey, maybe get us emotionally invested for once. How about that?
Right.
Then you don't have to throw people off tops of the cages.
No, you got to tick the boxes. Guys got to go through a table. Guys got to go through a barricade. You got to check the bingo, the WWE pay-per-view bingo. Yeah, so I'm with you. I don't like it, and I saw a lot of people saying like, "Oh, it's good. It should be safe." And like, no, I mean, yeah, but also
It's a tricky one. It's like, but this isn't pro wrestling then.
Yeah, right.
And we just buried AEW for doing it with Jericho and how bad it looked. If you're going to do it, it can't look that bad. It looks awful when AEW did it. And now we're to the point we're just doing it for standard spots in the middle of a match. I mean, on one hand, yeah, I do respect trying to keep the guys healthy and when you have an opportunity to do so. But on the other hand, that's kind of subverting the art. That's what I talked about with the Randy Orton Edge greatest match ever. When you're doing stop and starts with the filming and redoing spots and all this, you're subverting the art at that point. It's
right.
not pro wrestling anymore.
Yeah, and we as a pro wrestling show, it's like I never felt comfortable talking about that match because people were like, well, what do you rate it? What do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like it's not a wrestling match. It's a move. It's a a thing that feature that it was a movie about wrestling basically instead of a wrestling match, and I don't feel comfortable doing what we do and reviewing GLEAT and reviewing Ring of Honor and then also reviewing a match where I don't know if it took 7 hours to record that match and what they cut out and what got so I don't know. Yeah, people were like, oh, what'd you think? I thought it was pretty good. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's not a wrestling match. And
it's not the first time. And you know what? Honestly, it's not the first time they did. Remember, they did the crash pads at the first COVID WrestleMania. With the ladder match with the Usos.
Yeah, oh yeah, one of the Usos fell and then it was like this weird jump cut and then he landed. It was like very strange, yeah.
Now they did them in the Money in the Bank thing, but that wasn't in a ring. So it's like I know they do crash pads in the cinematic stuff. That we all accept. We understand. But this isn't the first time they did a crash pad in a match in a ring because they did it last WrestleMania in that ladder match. And they've probably done it other times and nobody picked up on it. You know what I mean? I'm sure they've done it over the last year in other circumstances and other situations, and we haven't noticed. But I don't want to see people go out there and take punishment and break their necks, but at the same time, I watch this because it's a certain kind of art form, and now you're cheating. It's almost like you're cheating, and I just don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. And especially if it's going to be so poorly done that we see the stagehand reaching out and pulling the thing back under the ring. I mean, no quality control either. It's embarrassing.
No. And it's going to be a different, because you're probably going to listen to other shows and they're going to say, oh, it's good and I like it and I want it or whatever. But we have always been clear from the minute this podcast started 10 years ago to where we are today, is that the reason we like pro wrestling is the sporting aspect of it. That yes, it is fake and it is scripted and it's all that sort of stuff. But we like the idea that it mimics sports. As sports fans, to us, it's an athletic quote-unquote competition between two people, proving who are the better athletes and trying to win a match and stuff. And that means that we don't want every single guy to come out in black trunks and just wrestle, a grappling match or whatever. We obviously like the theatrics of it. We like all that sort of stuff. But to me, at the end of the day, it still has to mimic and feel like a sport for me to like it. And once we get into ultra cinematic matches and crash pads and cuts and jump cuts and stuff, then, like you said, that loses me. That's something that I don't feel comfortable with anymore. And especially, using that in the context of a normal match, like, all of a sudden, using these different things in the middle of a match. I don't know. It's just, it's weird. Like, I don't, yeah, you want to be safe. You don't want these guys to get hurt, but if you can't do a spot like that, then just don't do it, or if like, there's a concern about that, and then I don't know, just, I just don't see a need to do that. Then don't do the spot if anybody's worried about it happening. So yeah, I just don't love it. I feel uneasy about it.
It just takes you out of the moment when you know that they've done it. The same way that, if people love to make these kind of comparisons, so I'll cheat and make this comparison too. If you saw an obvious crash pad in a movie stunt, it would take you out of the movie. Do you know what I mean? Your kayfabe, your suspension of disbelief is broken at that point. I enjoy watching these guys because they're a physical magician. I want to see them, perform, and I don't want don't expose the trick right in front of my eyes. That takes me right out of it. So, no, it's junk. And hopefully with fans coming back, we don't have to deal with that anymore.
All right, let's move on to, speaking of junk, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, WWE Raw Women's title match. I said it last week that this feud is definitely on the short list of worst feuds of the year. There are probably quote-unquote worst feuds, but this one, in terms of being two what I would consider semi-talented people in a very big prominent spot, it is so bad So terrible. Both these women are just losing to everybody. That the story is which of these two losers is going to go to the pay-per-view to lose. You have Charlotte Flair, the heel. I was told to heel via the guy who hits the button that boos, right? Charlotte Flair is the heel. Yes. Rhea Ripley via the guy who hits the button is a face because people cheered for her.
I think so. If it wasn't for the guy hitting the button, honest to God, I'd be confused though.
And then I thought, okay, well, we'll get to it because so they have this match and it's 14 minutes of Charlotte Flair decimating Rhea Ripley screaming the entire time very loudly as she holds her knee and screams and holds her knee and screams and holds her knee and screams. And then Rhea Ripley goes to the outside and then hits Charlotte Flair with the top of the announce table. And that is not perfectly legal, Joe, because she gets disqualified. So she retains her title. So then she grabs her title and she goes, ha ha ha, I'm still the champion. And then the button guy hits the cheer button. The fans go for Rhea Ripley, who got her ass kicked for 14 minutes and then cheated so that she didn't lose her title. And then Charlotte Flair goes, You're learning. And the fans go, boo. Like, what are we doing?
I don't understand
what's happening.
So
I thought this was a double turn, but then the button guy, it wasn't a double turn. I was convinced. I went, oh, you know what? This is a decent way to do a double turn here where Rhea Ripley turns heel and Charlotte Flair turns face. And then Rhea Ripley goes, I'm the bitch now. And the crowd goes, I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
And then they play Rhea Ripley's music even though she lost.
Right? My brutality.
Yeah.
The Thunderdome goes wild.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
It's so bad. Just so bad. And you just never know who the face and the heel is.
I have no idea.
Especially in Charlotte feuds, though, because she's never likable, no matter what.
Right. She's always an asshole, but you're never sure if Vince thinks that her being an asshole in this case is good, or if her being an asshole in this case is bad. And they're always the same. Nothing changes about her demeanor ever. It's just what Vince decides that week Charlotte or that month Charlotte's assholiness is bad instead of good.
Yeah, this all fucking stinks.
How bad was this? What are they doing? What are they doing to Rhea Ripley? This is her main roster run. I was gonna say that her and Charlotte have terrible chemistry, but I've realized that I've said that about a lot of Rhea matches so far on the main roster. I don't know what's going on with her, but this is a disaster so far in the main roster. I mean, the Asuka matches have been terrible. Her Charlotte Flair match last year WrestleMania was terrible. I mean, it was a good match, but obviously the finish.
No, that was a good match. That was a really good match,
but a terrible finish.
I thought it was the best match at WrestleMania last year, but it had a terrible finish.
Right, and from that point forward, we have not gotten back on track with her. She goes back to NXT for some reason. Doesn't really feel like she's over anymore on NXT. They kind of sort of rehab her. She goes to the main roster here. She wins the Royal Rumble and does and she does the stuff with Asuka, and it's just terrible. I mean,
Bianca Belair
won. Or Bianca Belair won. Yeah, she wins at WrestleMania. I meant to say she won the match at WrestleMania, and from that, I mean, it's just the look is horrendous. She looks terrible. What are they doing?
I don't know what they did to her, but she looks like a rodeo clown.
I don't know what's going on. She's like, they put like pale makeup on her. She's got this weird haircut. She's got weird makeup all over her eyes. She's got like a cross underneath her eye. I'm like, what are you doing?
It has undoubtedly affected her charisma.
And from a confidence standpoint too. And I noticed it in this match more than almost any other match, which is, possibly an issue with Charlotte, and it tends to happen in a lot of Charlotte matches, but it felt like, and I don't know if you caught this when you're watching this match too, it feels like everything Rhea does, she's thinking about it the entire time. Like, she did a super kick in this match to Charlotte that looked like Charlotte stopped, looked at her, Rhea looked at Charlotte, and then went, oh, right, super kick. And then it took like 14 seconds to do a super kick, and it just looked utterly ridiculous. And it's like there's this, I don't know what's going on. I'm sure they fucked with their head. I'm sure. How could you not? But it's just like, it's a disaster on the main roster.
Hold that thought with her loss of confidence. I have to bring that up for someone else later. But yeah, and this match stunk. I mean, Charlotte throwing kicks into the air. I mean, what was that all about?
Stomping nothing. It just stomped.
And if you want to make the argument that she was doing that on purpose to taunt Rhea, which is the counter argument I've seen. Number one, who taunts people by throwing kick? Like, that's not even a good taunt. That doesn't make sense, number one. And number two, even if that was the case, it still looks horrendous. So I don't care if it was on purpose or not. It looked terrible. The match was bad. The finish was completely absurd. Then all of the issues you talked about, where they're telling stories again, they tell all these stories, but the stories stink and never make any sense and aren't any good and don't get anybody emotionally invested. And they've taken Rhea Ripley, who was a potential top star, and she is never going to get there now. And I know this is a radio show, and people are going to think that's bombastic because she's so young. No, she's never getting there. And I don't even think they want her to. The way that they present her, the way that they book her, the way that they use her. I mean, she's the champion, and she's booked like a fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean, this match, I'm trying to honestly remember. Other than that terrible super kick and a few other moves, she got like 10% of the offense in this match. The rest of it was Charlotte just systematically destroying her. And
well, here's the thing with Charlotte. This is something too. I think she is buying into her gimmick. She just strikes me as someone, that she legitimately thinks that she's great at pro wrestling.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And she's terrible at pro wrestling. She's not great at pro wrestling. Terrible might be strong. She is a mediocre to slightly below average pro wrestler at best. Is that fair? She's not that good.
No, I think it's definitely fair.
And you just know that, you can see the ego on her. She buys into her own fucking push. I think she thinks that she's great at this, and she's not. And the way that they present her, which isn't her fault, she's never likable. You can't tell whether she's ever a face or a heel. She is one of the least interesting people to watch on this roster because of that. The only time her matches deliver are when they come across dangerous train wrecks. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, her and Sasha just go out there and literally kill each other, and
because of her sloppiness,
right?
Because she's someone who clearly has athletic ability, but doesn't have the pro wrestling natural instincts. Do you know what I mean by that? She's clearly athletic. She was a volleyball player. She does athletic things. She can do flips with a Z, but she doesn't have that. She doesn't, after all this time, and she's a veteran now, she still doesn't move around the ring in a natural way. She doesn't have that thing that some people just have when they get in a pro wrestling ring, despite the fact that she's very athletic and she has a lot of athletic gifts. So, she swears she's great at this. You just know that she does, but she's not. And she's a very frustrating performer to watch, both from that perspective and in how they present her.
Anything else on this match? I mean, this was atrocious.
It's junk. It's some of the worst shit on a show that wasn't very good to begin with.
Yeah, this is one of the worst. I mean, it's not again, it's one of those things that if I'm honestly thinking about it, it's one of my least favorite matches that I've watched the entire year. And there are worse matches. There are worse matches that you'll see. And on the show, there's definitely a worse match. But I always like to think of, when I think of worse feuds and worse matches, I think of people that should probably be doing better and that they end up having a stinker. We always say that for the worst match of the year is people will bring up, just this horrendous match between two barely trained people, and it's well, yeah, I mean, that was bad, but I'd like to think of matches that should be good and feuds that should be good that aren't, and this is one that just I cannot believe how bad this shit is, and it must continue. So there we go. Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had a match on the show, and they beat the hell out of each other despite the fact why did they work so hard in this match? I was guys, what are you doing? You're right, you're choked up about Sami and Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Owens was having a lot of problems with it. I gotta get a drink of water here. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so
Commander Aziz, or what's his name? Commander Aziz or whatever, right? Is he a commander? What's his rank? I forget what his military rank is. But
he is Commander Aziz.
That's right. Okay, so he was commander. Okay, that's a good rank. I mean, geez, that's pretty good. So,
and he delivered the
the Von Erich, the rope.
I don't know what happened, Rich.
I know.
What's he called? The thumb of death, or the
thumb of death? Yes. Yeah.
The grenade. Bad Luck Fale calls it the grenade. What does this guy call it? He calls it the. I'm asking you. You're any better than me?
I'm going to give you Commander Aziz. I don't know. I think he calls it the thumb of death or something. We'll go with that.
So he gives him the thumb of death, on SmackDown, and Kevin Owens goes up to who's the fake GM on SmackDown? Is it
Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville, right?
He goes, I want a match.
I want Sami
Zayn. All right, so he's choking to death because they got to put matches on this card because after they took the Roman match off, there's like 3 matches on the card.
Yeah, so we get an unannounced, unadvertised Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, one of the greatest feuds in wrestling history, just gets thrown on this show with the day's notice.
By the way, like someone pointed out, like 4 years ago, they said they were going to wrestle for the final time.
Yeah.
And they've wrestled like 27 times since they said that. So he's selling the fucking thumb to the throat, and he asks for the match, and they give it to him. I didn't know he'd still be selling that thumb to the throat 2 days later. So this whole match is built around Kevin Owens coughing and selling the thumb to the throat from 2 days earlier, which on one hand, I guess you got to respect it, but it's done in such a corny WWE in your face subtlety hammer way that how can anyone enjoy this? It was built around the man coughing. This show fucking stinks. SmackDown, fucking Blue Raw, Raw, Yellow Raw, every Raw, British Raw, Beans on Toast Raw, fucking Cruiserweight Raw, fucking pay-per-view Raw. They all fucking stink. Every one of them. Because of shit like this. They got to hammer you over the head with it. And every time Kevin Owens coughed,
they reminded you. They said Kevin Owens still clearly feeling the effect of the throat of death or whatever the fuck it was called for Commander Aziz on Friday Night SmackDown 2 days ago.
The Nigerian nail.
Right, the Nigerian nail.
The Nigerian nail. They had to tell you every time why he was coughing. Like telling you the first time isn't enough. They built a match around a cough. What do you want me to say?
There's nothing else to say. Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler. The best part about this all, so Alexa's spooky and she brainwashed Nia Jax, so she slapped Reginald, and she just beat Shayna Baszler in the ring. You know what I mean? I gotta say, I will give credit to Alexa Bliss. She has found a way to she is one of the most featured acts, and she doesn't bump at all, man. No. Like, I would think that she's got like an injury. She doesn't bump at all.
No.
She's got Undertaker 1999 thing going on where she doesn't have to take a bump. She just goes out there, offense, makes funny faces, and then wins matches, bounces to the back, and then she goes and swings on her swing for another 4 weeks until she goes back, doesn't take any bumps. Like, I'm convinced she's actually hurt, and this is a cover-up for the hurt. I don't know.
You know the funniest thing about this match is you got poor Jimmy Smith out there calling MMA holds during all of this. And he's, like, doing a good job.
He's like, trying. He's really trying. He's good. He's good.
He's good. I think he's good, which means Vince probably thinks he's bad, and he's going to stop calling holds.
You know who Vince also definitely hates, but we'll get to in a minute? I'm convinced he hates Pat McAfee, but we'll get to that. I have a clear evidence for that in a moment. But
all right, hold that thought. But poor Jimmy Smith is out here. He's like, well, you see Shayna Baszler, she's got wrist control here, and that's very important when you're trying to control the leverage in a match like that. And I'm just thinking to myself, poor Jimmy Smith. He's trying his best. He doesn't understand there's going to be fucking magic acts happening any second now. And he's out here calling fucking, well, she's gonna try to put her in a key lock now, and,
right. And there's like, a lot of this will actually hurt your elbows in addition to your wrist, which makes it difficult because a lot of your power is going to come from your elbows, and it's like, buddy,
yeah. And then Corey Graves is like, well, you never know what's up Alexa Bliss's sleeve.
Right, he's trying to reel him in. He's trying to the best way possible to say, Jimmy, stop, it's going to be stupid.
Alexa's
we're going to start screaming in a minute.
Here.
Yeah, right.
And the other announcer's talking about Reginald running around the ring, and this guy's calling fucking MMA spots in this fucking match. And it's like I said last week, I know people want us to bury this and make jokes, but what the fuck you want me to say? It was exactly what we thought it'd be. Okay? She fucking hypnotized Nia Jax. She stared into the eyes of Shayna Baszler, who then was like forced to let go of the fucking wrist control that she had on her. And it was just utterly ridiculous. There's nothing I can say that can make this any worse than what you saw. Like,
right.
What do you want me to say?
Watch it, I guess. Or don't watch it.
It's
don't
horrendous.
Watch it, actually. Yeah.
It's just irredeemably bad. It's month after month. It's week after week. there are creepy, fucking terrible mutant people who enjoy this, and they're going to keep playing to the mutant people who enjoy this shit for whatever reason. You know, they have they must have their metrics that tell them that this Bray and Alexa stuff works on some level. Now, Bray, you look at the numbers, he never drew anything.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay?
So when you get the dorks in your mentions, they're called, the casual fans like this stuff. No, they don't.
There's no evidence of that.
They don't.
Now, I don't know about Alexa because we haven't seen her with fans and I haven't studied her quarter hours, if I'm being honest with you. So I don't know. But someone loves this shit because they think that there's people who love it. And there are people who love it. Oh, Rich found that out the hard way today.
Goodness, did I find out today that people love this.
And these are the creepiest.
Various roleplay accounts were quite upset. Roleplay accounts that are quite literally role-playing Alexa as a child and tweeting, oh, I've been bad, Daddy. I didn't clean my bedroom. And posting a picture of Alexa and then saying, what do you mean she's supposed to be a child? You're gross. Like,
you're the pervert.
What are you talking? Yeah. You're RPing that. Like, oh my God. You're literally, your tweet after saying, you're gross, dude. Get your head out of the gutter. Like, I can't believe it. You're so gross. I'm reporting you. You're so gross.
How is that your if that's your interpretation, you're the pervert.
Yeah. And then the next tweet is Alexa, you know, upset, going, Daddy, I didn't clean my room. I must be punished. And then, like, a Randy Orton RP account going, like, all right, like, honey, I got some I got some punishment for you. And I'm like,
and
what
Rich,
is
these
going
are real
on? I was like,
these are real tweets.
I'm not kidding about any of these. These are legit tweets that I saw today. The Daddy, I've been bad, I didn't clean my room is an actual tweet. I'm word for word going through what the tweet said. And this is a tweet that got very upset. That I would insinuate that Alexa Bliss is childlike and that the Fiend is trying to have sex with a child. So
we discovered the world of WWE shipping.
So you got to tell me I don't know what shipping is still. So I didn't want to look it up on my work computer because I feel like that's going to get me on a watch list at work and probably brought into HR. So I looked at it on my phone and I still don't understand it. So
these people are 100 times worse than belt mutants.
Yes.
They are.
Oh yeah, we have found the worst of the worst.
They make belt mutants look like, you know, CEOs of major fucking companies. These are the worst humans. These mutants are the worst people on Earth. What shipping is, Rich, to ship is short for relationship.
Okay.
Okay? So what they do, so if you ship wrestlers, and this is, you could do this in any kind of, you could do this to
I already need a
television
shower.
characters.
1 minute. Can I take a shower?
I'm sure they're doing it in
before we do
anime because that's a fucking, because anime is a fucking creep fest. So I'm sure they're doing it in anime. You could do it for television shows. They'll do it for anything. Fucking comics. I'm sure those comic freaks are doing it. But to ship characters means to put them in a relationship, and then you role play these relationships when you ship. Like if you're an Alexa Bliss role player who's into shipping, you might find someone who's a Bray role player, or like you ran into today, a Randy Orton role player, and then they ship with each other. And I'm sure that they fucking get into DMs and sext and make it fucking horny and everything else and whatever other disgusting. It's just the weirdest subculture of mutant human that I've ever encountered.
So one question I have for you real quick, and I know that you are now the expert of shipping, so this is good that I'm asking you. I get I'm an Alexa Bliss RP account and you are a Reginald RP account or whatever, and we're going to ship. We're gonna DM each other about the weird lewd things that I get that. I get that from a you know, I'm role playing a woman, you're role playing a man, and we're now having whatever. Yeah. What I do not understand is I am the son of, I am the daughter of this Randy Orton RP account. You got to explain that one to me.
They're just taking it further.
Do I want to know? Do I want to ask? Yeah.
It's funny because the one that said she was the daughter of someone is role playing as a child and getting mad at you for saying that Alexa.
Yes, she was tweeting at her RP Randy Orton father that I didn't clean my room. I've been bad. I must be punished. I'm just like, this immediately after telling me you're a fucking creep. You're disgusting, dude.
Now, presumably these people are adults. I don't know if I buy it. I think that they are
don't.
young. I think they're teenagers saying they're adults so that they can post adult content. Because my mind can't fathom that a 40-year-old woman would do. I can't wrap my head around it. These can't be adults. They can't be. Who spends time doing this? This is the weirdest activity. There is some weird shit out there. Like I said, this is so much worse than the Belt Mutants.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm speaking as somebody who spent a very large amount of my youth doing e-feds and role-playing as, like, fake wrestlers and stuff, and cutting promos and stuff.
Okay.
I wasn't having sex with my my also the guys that I was role-playing with. So.
But as someone else. Like, you weren't...
Right, I was X character. I made up my own character, and I didn't...
Like, in your scenario from before, you weren't messaging an Alexa Bliss role player as Reginald,
right.
And telling Alexa Bliss, and telling not Alexa Bliss that you're going to give her Reginald's cock. Like, that. This is just on so many levels of fucking demented that I can't wrap my head around it. That this is happening.
Well, we found him. Like, we found him today. So,
like, I knew this existed. Like, I had heard the term. But it's like my brain almost didn't want to accept the reality that this exists. You know?
Or to the level that it existed. Like, I knew that there were, like, quote-unquote RP accounts or whatever, but yeah, I got into a very deep world that I was just like, oh my god. They had, like, this one had, like, okay, so here's my sister. I have 4 sisters, and here's my father, and here's my mom, and here's my aunt, and I'm like, what are you doing?
What is happening?
Why is your aunt, like, my aunt is Io Shirai? Like,
what about the Alexa Bliss one we found where she said, I don't ship, but I am DTF.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So that was explained.
I don't want any RP relationships, but I do want to RP fuck for sure.
Yes,
I like it. You know, that's good. You know, hey, feminism, baby. You know what I mean? Like
that roleplay account, they didn't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, no, they're good.
But let's flick the bean, pretending we're other people.
Yeah, that's you know, hey, sexual freedom is fantastic. So good for hopefully that. Adults, or I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, we found him, and that was a dark day. I hope we never find them again. So,
do you think this is the kind of thing? Remember the early days of chat rooms, ASL, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
And it'd always be like, oh, 20 female Florida, and you know that's like a 62-year-old dude, like that. Just
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right? Do you think these shippers pretending to be Alexa Bliss are like 58-year-old dudes, like? That's probably the same. Right?
So the chat room seems to think that. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I think I honestly don't know what to think. I want in my heart of hearts to believe that they're all 12. But
I hope they're not 12. That's even worse.
No, I know, but no, is it though?
Yes, I think
it's all bad. There's no good scenario here.
I think a lot like early chat room culture, I think this is a bunch of 50-year-old dudes talking dirty to each other.
That's very possible, yeah.
That's what I think it is. Right. It's got to be.
Well, WWE has attracted those people, so fantastic.
Rich,
so.
I'm not a prude. Would you describe me as a prude?
I would not describe you as a prude, no.
Just makes my skin crawl.
I know. I like when you were telling me about it earlier. It was just like the uncomfortableness that you had explaining it is something I've never heard from a Joe Lanza who's done some things and seen some things, and this is a lot to handle. It was pretty weird.
Why would a grown man want to pretend to be fucking? I don't know. Pick one.
Johnny
Mandy
Gargano.
Rose.
Yeah.
Why does a grown man want to pretend to be Mandy Rose? You know, to give another grown man pretending to be Jackson Riker some fucking pussy. Why is this happening?
I don't know. Especially in 2021, man. I mean, there's a lot of things you can go be doing, and you know.
There's so many ways to jerk off.
Like when I was 12 in the early AOL days, I mean, it was rough going. You know what I mean? Like you had really slow Internet, that's not going to work. There was, but we're 2021. There's plenty of things you could do.
There is a world of porn with every kink imaginable. There's dating sites on your phone.
For whatever kink you have as well, by the way. And whatever you are and whatever you like and whatever you do, there is a dating app for you. I promise there is.
There are sex workers willing to meet your needs in your town. Unless you live in the sticks. What is this? I understand all of those things. This I will never understand.
Yeah, we got to get Ashley Orton fake on the show here to dive into this a little bit. I think would be.
No, I don't want to talk to them anymore.
We'll get Joker Da Silva and Ashley Orton fake on the show.
Joker Da Silva can't. He's not even.
No, he's in a different stratosphere because he's just like a dude on Reddit that thinks the Fiend is cool, and we used to think that guy was weird.
He's normal as hell.
Right, like that guy you would encounter in real life and just be like, yeah, that guy's kind of a dork, but whatever, who cares? Like
after seeing this, I can't pick on the belt mutants anymore. They're just buying expensive memorabilia. These people, I don't understand any of this. The need for it, what you're getting out of it. It's fucking demented. Rich, I want it to stop.
I do too. Hopefully that is the end of it. That the brief infiltration that we've had from
I blame anime.
You're taking anime down here.
I mean, between the fuck pillows and this, I can't. I think I'm blaming the anime. If someone could correct me, I guarantee you, this evolved from anime. That great Okan banging his pillow. That's
the root of it all. Yes.
Yes.
Oh dear God,
Rich. Fuck pillows, Rich. They're real.
Yeah. And honestly, compared to this, pretty normal. Compared to what I've seen on Twitter, where a roleplay Alexa Bliss account is saying, "Oh, I want it, Daddy," from a John Moxley roleplay account that's apparently her father or her cousin or something is definitely worse. The fuck pill is pretty normal in that context. So
okay, so you think the shippers are weirder than the people who buy the fuck pillow with a cartoon character painted on the pillow that they then hump?
Yes.
I'm going to have to give that one some thought.
Okay, give it a thought. Maybe next week.
I think the fuck pillow... Okay, I've thought about it.
You're good, okay.
I think the fuck pillow is weirder because at least with the role play shipping fucking shit, it's another human.
Presumably.
Well, yeah. It's another human that you're.
There's a human on the other side of that thing. Yeah. What kind of human they are, it doesn't.
Yeah,
matter.
But it's another human.
Right.
Like the fuck pillow, you're humping a cartoon character painted on a pillow. That has to be worse, right?
I don't think so. I don't know.
All right, we're split here. It's a split vote.
I guess I would have to maybe see how a day in the life of a fuck pillow guy is. That would be my because is it just like a brief moment where he's like, all right, I'm home, so let's do the fuck pillow thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because there's like the doll guys. Have you ever encountered that in the wild? The guys.
There's the doll guys, and we've been told in the chat room that Selena De La Renta now has a fuck pillow.
Okay.
But that's not a cartoon.
Right. Like Joe was talking about the waifu, like where you paint an anime character onto that pillow and then fuck it.
It's a fucking cartoon character.
Yeah, okay. I see where you're coming from there. That is pretty weird. Yes, a pillow that looks like Selena De La Renta. It's like, all right, you at least can understand the appeal of that.
I guess
it's so weird. It's so weird.
But this would be like having fucking She-Ra, Princess of Power, painted on your pillow. Or Gem. Remember Gem?
I don't know. Who's Gem? I know She-Ra. I don't know if I remember.
Truly outrageous. Or whoever the fuck. It's a cartoon character. It's like having Lisa Simpson painted on a pillow. What are we doing?
Oh, dear God. Well, there you go. That is Don't criticize Alexa Bliss or The Fiend, or else you'll get those people in your mentions. All right, Seth Rollins and
I'd
Cesaro.
rather hump a pillow with no cartoon character printed on it. That's the least weird of the three.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, I like that. Where do you put doll people in this mix?
Oh, God.
While we're doing it, because I haven't encountered those people in the wild. And
I think people who fuck sex dolls are the least weird of the people we've talked about.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think that that's like a facsimile of a human. Whereas,
because I've met a few guys that like there's this, there's a guy that I've seen a few times at a park who will carry it around in like a wheelchair and stuff.
Oh,
yeah, you know what I mean?
They're bringing their fuck doll in.
Yeah, right.
That's a whole nother level.
Right, like that's what I mean. I don't mean like the go home and fuck your fuck doll. Like that's one thing. That's fine. Like whatever.
Okay, worst to least worst would be pillow with a cartoon character on it is the worst.
You're considering that the absolute worst, yes.
Yeah.
So Great Okan is the worst of all these offenders.
If he's humping the pillow with the cartoon character, the answer is yes. That's the worst. Pillow with a human, a real human.
A Selena De La Renta human pillow, yeah. That.
Yeah. Pillow with nothing on it, just your bed pillow.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I'm not putting that next.
I was going to say I'd put the Selena De La Renta pillow above the just banging a normal pillow.
Okay, let me start over.
Okay, go ahead. So the lowest of the low is the anime pillow.
If you have a cartoon character on a pillow and you're fucking the pillow, that's the worst.
Okay, got it.
If you have a real human on a pillow and you're fucking the pillow, that's the second worst. Third, I'm going to put sex doll guy who brings it in public. Okay. That's real fucking weird.
It's strange. Yeah, it's tough.
Actually, that's if you bring your sex doll in public, that's before the cartoon.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. New.
But sex doll guy who like a real expensive thousands of dollars one that looks like a human, he's next. Then the guy who humps a pillow that doesn't have anything painted on it, just a horny person who humps a pillow. I guess a woman would hump a pillow as well. Then the shipping role players. Okay. I really think the least weird of the bunch because all of these people, to some degree, I mean, but at the end of the day, the role players are just sexting with each other and having online sex. The weird part is that they're doing it as other people. That's fucking weird. But it's not weirder than fucking a pillow with a cartoon character painted on it. I can't, but I don't know. You disagree. That's fine. Reasonable minds can disagree on this one, I would say.
Yeah, as you said, I think it's a great way to finish this conversation. Thankfully, once and for all, is that they're all different levels of just completely different stratosphere of weird. So we apologize to Belt Mutants, we apologize to Joker da Silva, we apologize to all of those because we have discovered a new range of wrestling fans that are much more horrifying than we could have ever imagined. So. That's good. Sometimes you gotta, now I have more of an appreciation for belt guys. Like the next time I see a belt mutant, I'm gonna be like, hey, that's a cool big gold belt you got there, pal. And he's like, yeah, I got it from it. And I'm just gonna walk away because I don't care. But it's good that we've learned to respect them. I think a little bit more than we did before. So.
I feel so gross.
Seth Rollins and Cesaro had a pro wrestling match at WWE Hell in a Cell on Peacock. Joe, what did you think of Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, the budgeting star Cesaro, who lost again to Seth Rollins?
I mean, that'll nice little 3-star match. I don't know. How can we possibly follow the
I don't know how we're going to follow this. Yeah, I'm not sure. Bianca Belair, Bayley, SmackDown Women's Title, Hell in a Cell match. This was the match where I'm pretty sure I heard Corey Graves say perfectly legal 14 different times in this match alone. I tried to count it. I think you also tried to count it. It was so ridiculous the amount of times they did this. And they went out there. I think they had a pretty decent enough match. The problem was it had no need to be in a Hell in a Cell. There was nothing that needed to be in a Hell in a Cell. This is a match that you could have in any ring. No stipulation. It would have been exactly the same match. And I think that is something that definitely hurts Hell in a Cell matches when you just have a match like this. That's a perfectly fine, well-worked wrestling match, but has no purpose to be in a cell whatsoever. And Bianca gets the win. She beats Bayley, but I think this is probably the person that you were going to mention here who's had some confidence loss over the last few months.
Best match on a bad show, maybe 3.5 star range. Pretty good match. They did do our spot where they had Bayley stop and laugh at her. Did you notice it?
They did.
Where the hair was tied to the thing and she couldn't move, and then Bayley did the laughing spot.
Yes. Oh, can I talk about my favorite spot though?
Yes.
And this is pretty early. Bayley grabs a chair, and she's gonna hit Bianca with the chair. Bianca grabs her hair, and she hits the chair with her hair.
Yes.
And Bayley goes, and she drops the chair.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's a good move, Bianca. I'd go back to that. She never went back to it. So
she also won the title at WrestleMania by whipping the hair.
So she should probably use the hair more.
Yeah.
It seems to work pretty well, but she
destroyed my own voice with the Kevin Steen.
Now you've worked yourself into a shoot here, yeah.
Yeah.
But Bianca won the women's title with her hair. She stopped a Bayley chair shot with her hair about 2 minutes into this match and then never went back to it, unfortunately. So I don't know. I would probably use it a little bit more if I were her, but it's perfectly legal too in all matches, perfectly I believe, legal. Not That's just the Hell in a Cell.
Part of her body. But I want to talk about Bianca Belair because they've just slowly stripped away everything that was unique and what made her a potential future star. You can see that the confidence that she had in NXT is gone. It is gone. And that was her number one attribute, and what made her so special was her confidence. Now, they've written her character to question her own confidence, like we talked about last week in this storyline. Bayley getting in her head with the laughter. The NXT Bianca Belair would have never allowed that. Like, she would have never been written that way in NXT. You know, she would have shrugged that off and beat this asshole, but they had her, doubting herself and all that. But that's her strength. This would be like if 1998 Stone Cold Steve Austin was written to be afraid of someone or something like that. Like, it goes against what makes the gimmick work. Don't do that. Do things that make the gimmick work and enhance the strength of the wrestler. You know what I mean? You at no point were you going to write Stone Cold Steve Austin to say, come to think of it, maybe I should listen to my boss. Like, you're not...
Right.
It's a bad idea, But this is what they constantly do when they, quote-unquote, tell their stories now. Okay? They put opposites together. They go against the grain of what the personality traits are. And it sucks. And you could see it reflected in Bianca. Just the way she carries herself, the way she works. Here's the other thing about Bianca Belair. She is a very poor promo on the main roster because the material they give her is the wrong material for her, and she doesn't know how to deliver it. When you watch her on SmackDown, she has these weird pauses in the middle of her promos, and you see her stop and think and look down to collect her thoughts and figure out where she's going next with the promo. And it's just, it was never that way in NXT. She was natural. She was exuberant. She had that big, beautiful smile on her face. She was confident. As a heel and a face, she was confident. And she was a shit talker. And they've taken
her
all
promos
that
essentially
away.
were, somebody would say, Bianca, what do you think about this upcoming match? And she goes, why I have all the confidence in the world. I'm Bianca Belair. I'm the best. I'm the greatest. I'm the EST, and I'm going to prove it, in the minute. And she'd walk out, and that was it. It was, 11 minutes. It was 11 seconds. She would, do her catchphrase and say, "Of course I'm going to win because I'm Bianca Belair," and then that was it.
Yeah, and she's suffering from that thing that we've seen time and time again over the years, where the main roster just beats it out of you, and the confidence isn't there anymore, and the promos are not good, and she can't get that main roster promo cadence down, and the material doesn't fit her. And it's affecting everything.
Right. And a normal wrestling company would realize this and adjust it and say, okay, we have a certain style of promo that we want X to do, but Bianca can't do that. So instead of forcing her to do X and say, well, she's no good because she can't do X, let's do what makes her bad. Let's maximize what Bianca Belair brings, which will bring us to the topic I wanted to talk about next. Let's maximize what she does and accentuate those positives and hide those negatives. And instead, it's just everybody's got to do the same thing over and over, and it's hurt Rhea Ripley and it's hurt Bianca Belair. Two absolute layups that they have had over the last 5 years that came out of that PC. Which should be two of the best success stories that have come out of that PC in terms of the women's side. Since Sasha and Becky and Charlotte and all that, and it's. I don't know, Joe. Don't think it's going to work for either of them. I hate to say it now, and obviously they're still very early in their main roster careers, but we've seen this time and time again. Like, there's no need to have hope, and we see the road it's going down already.
She came across like a surefire future star in NXT. We said that from day one. It looked like they could have had something with the Royal Rumble, especially WrestleMania. But we told people, keep it at arm's length and be careful, because this company has a funny way of, and a lot of times Vince does it on purpose. The old strip you down to build you back up.
Exactly.
And I don't even think necessarily that's what this is. I think they think that some of this stuff is just a good idea. They're wrong. And when it's a young wrestler, and let's remember, she's also, I hate to use this word, but for all intent and purpose, she's green. This isn't like a 10 to 12 year veteran, you know, who gets called up to who had a long run in the indies or maybe did some ROH and you know, had 5 years in NXT and then got called up. This is essentially someone who's barely out of being a rookie.
Right. This is someone who knows nothing else but this system. Where I think that the distinction that's important there is, like, take somebody like a Ricochet. We'll just mention Ricochet. You know, Ricochet, you can beat him down and all that sort of stuff, but he knows what it's like to be a top guy. He was a top indie guy. He was the top guy in Dragon Gate. He was, you know, a junior champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He won, you know, Best of the Super Juniors. Like, that guy was so accomplished and had the ups and downs of a wrestling career. Bianca hasn't had a down yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's all been up, 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 because from the moment she came in there, they realized, oh, we have some potential here. We have something for her. And it's been, that roller coaster's been going up and up and up the entire time. And now for the first time, it's going on the way down. And for the first time, you're hitting some bumps in the road. And how do people handle that? Like, that, not everybody handles it the right, you know, the same way. And I imagine this is the first time she has, you know, kind of endured this thing. And she doesn't, I don't know if she knows how to navigate through it. We'll see. We'll find out. But, you know, whether or not she has it or not, it might be impossible with the way this company builds people and structures everything. So. And
she choked on the post-match promo. Did you see that?
Yeah, she said, you know, you beat me up and I'm never going to forget about it or something like that, and then ran away. And it was like, oh,
you won the match. Like, what are you talking about? You know, I just think there's something there missing with her. She's not the same person she was in NXT, and she's not the same performer she was even early on this run. So you would think that they'd write promos to suit who this person is, especially if they have high, but it I don't know. It's very frustrating. I feel bad for her.
It is, yeah, because this and this is the same way that because I know you've been very invested in Bianca Belair for years and years and years, and it's the same thing that I have with Rhea Ripley. Like when I first saw her at the Mae Young Classic, I was like, wow, she looks like she's got a ton of potential, and it's one of those things that you kind of plant your flag in someone and go, hey, yeah, this, you know, that person is gonna, and that's why I'm so frustrated when I see Rhea Ripley on the main roster. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, Jesus, everything that you could want, and Bianca's the exact same way. It's everything you could want, and you just don't maximize it. And I guess it'll kind of transition in here that we're thankfully over with our Hell in a Cell thing. Is this week we saw the Karrion Kross main event debut. They put him up on the main roster, which, oh boy, not a good start for Karrion Kross. Before he even walked to the ring, they decide, hey, we're going to try out Scarlett and you separately, which is not good for one Karrion Kross, because I definitely know that they see something in Scarlett and that they like what they see in Scarlett. I don't know if they like what they see in Karrion Kross so far. But anyway, he comes out on main event, and he comes out without Scarlett and without the entrance. And now, you and I both think the entrance is dorky and hate it, right?
I am not a fan of the entrance because I think that Scarlett is way too animated, and I don't know. I'm not a fan.
It's a little too much. It's too much every single time she comes down. Every time he comes down to the ring.
The bad lip syncing, which looks like she's being stabbed with a knife.
Yeah, it's not great. But undeniably, it works for the aura of that character. That guy comes out, there's lights, there's smoke, he's got a babe with him. They come down to the ring, and he goes and he kicks ass and he beats everybody up, and in 10 minutes, he wins the match. And he
undeniably feels like a big deal and comes across like a star because of the entrance.
Right. And that has been true of anybody that's had their hands on Killer Kross or Karrion Kross or whatever, has understood that a lot of the stuff, a lot of the appeal of Kross is the aura. Whether it's on the indies and he looks bigger than guys, so have him come out and kind of be bigger than guys and destroy guys and stuff like that, or when you're going to have him in AAA or whatever, it's the same kind of idea where he's just bigger than everybody else, and that's going to be the gimmick. And then some indies realized, okay, the way we're going to use this guy is we're going to give him sort of ominous entrance music and ominous entrance and all that sort of stuff, and it helps with the aura, because once the bell rings, Karrion Kross doesn't have that much to offer, which is fine. Like, it's okay. Like, you can be that in wrestling. It's okay. It matters to an extent, but there are ways to kind of make that not matter as much. So what they do is when they try out Karrion Kross at main event, they give him WWE 2K19 generic entrance 1, and he comes out, just normal music, no, I think it was his normal music, but no smoke, no lights. He walks down to the ring, he gets in the ring, he pounds his chest, he goes, ah, and then the match starts.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's, if you watch this entrance and you go back and watch it, it's the complete opposite of looking like or feeling like a star. It's just a guy walking to the ring. They stripped away everything that made him special, right? And it relates to what we were just talking about with some of these other people, but it's especially so in his case because there's not a ton else there with him. I mean, this is a guy who's been a journeyman wrestler for a number of years. Had decent runs in a couple of different places, but this was his ticket. And this act was, now look, it's never been in front of fans, but we can presume from the best we can tell that it was working. And he was at least getting a mega push. To take away the valet and the entrance, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, this could have just been a one-off because they wanted him to work main event for whatever reason. Maybe they wanted to test and see what he would be like when you strip away the entrance to either prove some kind of point or to test him. But I saw someone on Twitter make a great point. Why do that and then air it? You can do that. You can try different things all day long, but you don't have to. Fans don't have to see it.
Right. If you can film that and say, hey, let's see. Somebody can say, hey, this guy, like, is this just all entrance, or can this guy actually go? Does he actually have charisma? And they can have him. Yeah, hey, can we have you come down to the ring and we're gonna have you do just a normal entrance, and then you film it and you look at it and go, yeah, no, it's. I mean, you would see from 2 minutes in, hey, this doesn't work. This guy just doesn't have that it factor anymore. So, okay, cool. We got it. Thanks, man. Oh, we'll give you the entrance. We'll give you the lights. We'll give you the smoke. We'll give you all that sort of stuff. There's no need to air it whatsoever.
And they're in a great position. They're we're in the final weeks of not having fans where you have that advantage where you can do that.
Yeah, you got an empty arena. You could have them come down 15 different times. You could say, hey, try it with this music. Hey, try this. Maybe do this. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted for hours. You could have them try different stuff.
I can't believe they exposed that to fans. He couldn't have looked more generic in that entrance. It's crazy. That's wild to me that they aired that. And that means that at least on some level they're considering doing that to him. Mm-hmm. That'll destroy him. He will have no chance if they strip away that entrance and he is what we saw in main events, because there really isn't a ton else there. With him. I mean, I guess he has a decent look. I mean, he's not a mega worker, but
here's the look thing.
Carried to good matches by good workers.
Yeah, the look thing works on the indies. The work thing works in it's not a one-on-one comparison, but it reminds me a lot of like Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome was incredible in FMW, incredible in ECW because he was a monster among men. He was giant. And the first thing that WCW did, because they're fucking dumb, just like WWE is, they had Mike Awesome debut and they had Kevin Nash in the ring with him.
Yeah.
And Kevin Nash was like 7 inches taller than Mike Awesome. And you're like, what the fuck? I thought this guy was supposed to be big. And he immediately just looked like a guy. And then he was dead from that point forward. Because all the aura, all the thing about this guy being big, which Karrion Kross is big in NXT. Karrion Kross was big on the indies. Karrion Kross was big in PWG and in AAA and all that sort of stuff. On the main roster, man, if he's gonna go face to face with Drew McIntyre, he's not gonna be big and imposing. Right. Drew McIntyre is a very large man. Bobby Lashley, a huge man. I mean, the WWE is not at a loss for huge men. There needs to be something else with this guy, and that's where if he comes to the ring and again, it doesn't work for me, but him coming to the ring with Scarlett, with the lights, with the smoke, with the aura, all that sort of stuff, that's going to matter when he gets in the ring and goes face to face with a guy, and he's not going to be an imposing figure. So the look is good, but it's not all that's going to make this guy. It's not going to be all that helps him like it did on the indies and so many other places where the look was enough.
Is it possible that the people running the show on the main roster, Vince and the crew, also thought the entrance is kind of corny and wanted to see what he could be without it?
I'm sure. Yeah, I bet. But they're probably thinking smartly, we can't do this shit every single time. Like, we can't have you come out and take 11 minutes of our fucking TV time every single time you come out to the ring. We got to figure out another way to do this, which is fair.
Yeah, maybe they saw the entrance as something that was, a bunch of Triple H bullshit, and wanted to see if there's another way to present this guy. And if there's a hot woman, they have other ideas other than just coming down with a guy.
Oh yeah, people are using the Mark Marrow reference, and this. I mean, he got Mark Marrowed in record time here, where Vince and Bruce or whoever saw Scarlett and said, "All right, Scarlett, you're going that way. Whatever, go out. Okay, all right, Scarlett, hey, how's it going? Like, what's going on?"
We should say we don't know if any of this is permanent. This could have been a one-off.
Yeah, who knows? But I mean, we have history on our side here, and there's a very, very good chance that they have much higher hopes for Scarlett than they do for Karrion Kross.
Yeah, just a puzzling decision on a bunch of different fronts.
We don't know if it's going to stay or not, but it is another great example of just not accentuating the positives. What does this person do well? Let's and this is a company that thrived on that for years and years and years, and just has completely lost all sight of that. So awesome, it's great. Hey. Do we want to talk about Duo Drop and Nikki Cross, or no? Do we not even care anymore?
Say it again.
How do you pronounce it?
Say it.
Dewdrop. Is it Dewdrop or Duo Drop?
It's just Dewdrop. Yeah. Duo Drop. No, just Dewdrop.
Just Dewdrop. Okay.
Dewdrop. It would be D-U-O.
That's true. That's true. Dewdrop.
See, I am a master of pronunciation.
Right, you are. You are, if nothing, if not a master of pronunciations, of course.
Right. So what's funny about the Dewdrop thing is we don't have to waste any time telling people how much it sucks. It's a terrible name, and
they're already breaking up. They've been in a unit for a week.
They pretended they didn't know who it was, which is dumb because she's been on WWE programming for over a year or whatever. So we don't have to get into how dumb the name is and pretending that it's a new person.
Mm-hmm. They're also doing the exact same Eva Marie character that they did 3 years ago, where she doesn't want to wrestle. So that's good.
Well, I mean, Eva Marie is useless too. No matter how many people argue with me, she brings nothing to the table.
Well, the ratings clearly show that people were excited about her. So,
but what's fascinating about this one is everyone recognized it was stupid, universal, even the hardcore WWE defenders. But then the next week, okay, when Dewdrop tried to interrupt Eva Marie and say that her name was Piper Niven, okay. Then you have people defending it going, oh, I see what they're doing now. She's still Piper Niven. She's just trying to tell her that she's Piper Niven. So they have a plan. So now this is good. My counter argument is, I don't care if it makes sense that they have a plan. It still fucking sucks. Bad stories are bad stories. Just because something is cohesive and happens to make sense doesn't make it good. What is wrong with people? How is Piper Niven trying to say her name a good story? How is that good?
Right. Who does that benefit? What is the end game? And what benefits do you get from Piper Niven coming out and being Dewdrop and then saying, no, I'm not Dewdrop, I'm Piper Niven? Like, what is the end game? What is the, you got to give me, here is why this story is good and here's the benefit that this story is going to be. Like, you have to do that. At the very least with storytelling, you have to tell me what the purpose of the story is and what the benefit of that story is.
How is Dewdrop eventually saying her name good? What makes that good?
Right, after 2 weeks.
Why is that compelling
after 2
or good?
weeks.
Why is that a good story?
I don't.
What makes that a good story? The bar is so low among the people who watch this company that any story that even makes a modicum of sense is considered good.
Yeah. No, not even just a story. Just any story.
Any
is
fucking
good.
story.
Yeah, right.
Any story. And then they repeat the company of line of, oh, well, they tell stories. They tell stories in this company.
The casual fans like stories. They don't like in-ring. They don't worry about the Tokyo Dome, Joe. They don't care about star ratings in the Tokyo Dome, all right?
They want Dewdrop to say her name because it's a story. Well, it's still bad. So who fucking cares? It's unbelievable. This is what they come up with when they call someone up. Oh, we're gonna call you Dewdrop. And then eventually you're gonna say your real name and turn on Eva Marie, which, as you noted, took 1 week to start the breakup story. 1 week.
That's the only story that they don't know how to tell the story of a heel turn or a team breaking up is the only two stories they know how to tell.
They have a half a dozen stories. That's all they have. And they just repeat the same half a dozen stories over and over and over. That's all they got. They have nothing else. And they hire 20 writers to tell the same 6 stories over and over and over. Now Nikki Cross. We move on.
Let's get to actually before we do the Nikki Cross, I do have to let you know this episode of the Voice Wrestling Flagship Podcast is also brought to you by Manscaped, Joe, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology development to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide, and we have an exclusive offer for our listeners. 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAGSHIP at manscaped.com. Again, you're going to get that Perfect Package 3.0. We've talked about it for weeks now. You get the Lawnmower 3.0, the best ball hair trimmer ever. You can use that thing in the shower. You got an LED light. You got the crop preserver that's going to come in that perfect package. You have the crop reviver. You're also going to get a pair of high-performance Manscaped boxer briefs and a travel bag to store all of that grooming goodness. So anyway, trim that junk of yours. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code FLAGSHIP at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLAGSHIP at manscaped.com. Once more, 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Use that promo code FLAGSHIP. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, so let's get to Nikki Cross, superhero.
You totally forgot that ad.
Forgot is okay. Did I forget it? No. Did we not? Did I not have a great time to lead in? Yes. Joe, my options for leading into that ad were, what's worse, fucking a pillow or RPing that you're having sex with other wrestlers? Or what we just did right there.
I think shaving your balls is a good transition point.
I guess, yeah. If you're gonna fuck your pillow, here's what
do it with shaved balls.
You're right. I guess they would have. I guess Manscaped doesn't really. I mean, they know the score. They know what they're doing. So
I mean, they keep buying ads and they know the content of this baby.
They do know the content, and they're ball shavers. So it's like, yeah, you're right. I maybe should have said, hey, when you're fucking your anime pillow, make sure your balls are trimmed nice with the promo code FLAGSHIP at manscaped.com. You're right. I should have done that, but.
Love the ad read with 10 minutes left in the show.
I'm sure they're going to love that too. So.
Yeah, big fans. That might be the last Manscaped ad. So Nikki Cross.
Yeah, she's a superhero.
She's now a superhero.
Yeah.
Now I have an alternate take on this one.
But Joe, how could you? It's her idea.
Well, yeah, okay. So we're going to rant on her idea thing?
No, I don't care.
No, I want to make that point because that's another new defense of all this crap. Well, it's the wrestler's idea. Okay, that doesn't mean it's not.
It's also bad. I have bad ideas all the time.
The wrestler says they're having fun. Okay, well, I'm not having fun watching.
Right, I'm a critic and I'm watching them and I'm not having fun. So
I don't give a fuck how much fun Alexa Bliss is having. It fucking stinks. Okay. Oh, well, he just wants to surf. Well, good for him. It still fucking stinks.
Right. If I'm watching a sports and a player on my team is fucking garbage, but hey, he's having a great time out there. You know what I mean? Like he just loves that he's in the NBA. Sure, he can't make a 3-pointer, and yeah, sure, his defense sucks. But I mean, God damn it, he's enjoying himself, and you know he's making a lot of money, and he never thought he'd get to this level, Joe. So I cannot criticize that terrible player on my team. So
if I'm season 5 into a television show and all of a sudden it's not good anymore, I don't give a fuck if the actors are having fun and the lead actor came up with the storyline arc for season 5.
It's bad.
Why would that matter to you? Why do people bring
weird.
this stuff up like it fucking matters? It doesn't matter. But I will say this, okay? I will say this about Nikki Cross, the superhero. It's smart. It's smart, and I'm going to tell you why. Do I think the character stinks? Yes, because I'm not an 8-year-old child. Do I think Nikki Cross is wise to pitch something like this? I do.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if the character connects with children, with fans, this could extend her run by a decade. Okay? Where else was Nikki Cross? What was her ceiling in this company otherwise? Was Nikki Cross ever headlining WrestleMania? Was Nikki Cross ever going to be a big star? She's a nice little worker. By all accounts, a great person. Okay? But is R-Truth in this company at 50 years old if he didn't come up with a wacky comedy character? Of course not. He'd be disposable. Okay? This is a smart play. And if some of these wrestlers can come to grips and be pragmatic and understand that I'm never going to be the top guy, that I'm never going to headline WrestleMania, they'd all be wise to pitch stuff like this. This superhero character may flame out in 3 weeks and she might get cut. for all I know. But there's a chance that this does connect and she's the next Hurricane or the next R-Truth, and it extends her career. So, but the problem is most wrestlers don't go home and hit the pillow at night and think about being a lower prelim wrestler for the next decade. They all still think they're going to be the big star.
Right.
So it's tricky. You know, Mojo Rawley went home every night and thought that he was going to headline WrestleMania someday. And we all knew that was never going to happen. But he probably didn't know that. And maybe Nikki Cross is just being smart and pragmatic and understands that, hey, they're cutting people every 2 months. The gimmicks they gave me stunk because they all stunk, every one of them. She did the best she could. They were bad. Maybe I can do something and own this and be great at it and sell a little merch, and then they'll see value in me and they'll keep me around. That's my take on it. Do I have use for a superhero character? None. But I'm a man. I'm 40. It's not supposed to appeal. You know what I mean? Like, of course I'm not going to like it. I don't like this. To me, it's junk. But I can kind of see where she's coming from, pitching something like this. What do you think?
No, I'm with you. I think, ultimately, do I care at all? I don't. I don't really give a shit about this. I don't care. My reaction is more to people, like you said, the people saying, it's kind of stupid, but whatever. And people saying, well, it's her idea. Like, and it's okay. I don't care. That
it's
idea.
Still fucking stupid.
It's still stupid, and it's her idea.
Still stinks.
I also, and this happens every time we get a dumb character in wrestling, is people, somebody will say, I don't know about this. This is kind of a weird character. And people go, well, the Hurricane, he worked. Yeah, he did. But Mighty Molly didn't work. Yeah. And 10,000 other shitty gimmicks have not worked since the Hurricane. The Hurricane debuted in 2001, Joe. That was Rosie. 20 years ago.
Remember, Rosie was shit.
Yes, shit. The superhero in training, yes. How'd that work?
Literally shit.
Yeah.
And they've done this before.
I mean, they've done it before. So, like, I always caution people when and we get it every time. We say, the spooky thing, I don't know what's going to work. And people go, yeah, that's what they said about The Undertaker. It's like, okay, that he debuted in 1990. So, like, okay, you're right. But Mordecai didn't work, right? Like,
right. Thank you for your one example.
Right. The ECW zombie didn't work. Mordecai did not work. Like, there are Kevin Thorne did not work. Like, I have a lot of examples of it not working. In fact, I have more examples of it not working versus the one example you brought up from 40 years ago that did work. Like, so let's maybe be cautious about bringing up the one example that works in all these cases. But that always comes up when a dumb, a weird gimmick like this happens, is people immediately go to, well, what about the Hurricane? And it's like, okay, what about the Hurricane made it work, but that doesn't mean, because the Hurricane made it work, does not mean it's a good idea. If it was the only time they ever did a superhero character, the only time they ever did a goofy character, it worked for that one guy, then okay, maybe there's some evidence. But no, there's like 10 other people after that it didn't work for. And I don't know about you, Joe, but I think 10 is more than one. So maybe let's, instead of saying, well, what about the one that did work? I don't know, maybe think about the other ones that did not work and why those didn't work. So I don't know.
For the record, I don't think this is going to work.
It's not going to work. No, it's especially now in this company. Hell no, get out of here.
I think Shorty G was the comparison you made, and I think it's a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were told, this is. I mean, it's just a brief little run that he's going to do, and then he's going to be able to strip this character, and he's going to be better for it. And they laughed at him for 4 months, and then now he's
and admitted it was bad. Basically, they admitted it was bad.
And now he's with Otis.
Yes, Otis. Same spot he was in before.
Hey, by the way, Otis, that was, remember how he was goofy in character and he's so fun. Well, now he's a heel. And
more charisma than Okada, in fact.
Yeah. Him and Mandy Rose, the pro wrestling's top couple.
Yeah.
That was like, what, a year ago? Now we're...
Another example of a WWE storyline where the baseline doesn't make sense. Oh, it's good then.
Yeah.
But, it's still stupid. It's still... reductive, I don't know. This is enough WWE.
Yeah, this is more than enough WWE. Yeah, let's move on here. Let's talk about All Japan Pro Wrestling here. Triple Crown Championship. Suwama had been the champion since March of 2020. He was set to face off with Champion Carnival winner Jake Lee. Hypothetical, before we even talk about what did happen, was Jake Lee winning the title from Suwama in that match? Hopefully, I guess.
I would like to say yes, but
it is All Japan, so that's.
I can't confidently say that.
Okay. So anyway, that was going to happen. Suwama was going to face Jake Lee, but Suwama has COVID.
Yes.
So he has vacated the title, and All Japan is now going to crown a new champion in a semi-convoluted way. I'm curious on your thoughts about this, because I've seen some people say, oh, it's very simple, it's very easy, and other people say, no, it's convoluted, no, it's a mess, so I don't know. So what's going to happen is Jake Lee, Kento Miyahara, and Yuma Aoyagi are going to compete on the 626 show this weekend in a 3-man tournament format. So what's going to happen is on this one night, there's going to be a round-robin style tournament to determine the winner. All Japan's English language Twitter explains it like this. It says, quote, a lottery will be held before the show to determine the order of the matches, and the wrestler who wins 2 matches in a row, will become the new champion. Joe, does this make sense to you, or is it confusing?
I understand it, and number one, it is not a 3-way match. That's number one. I think a lot of people thought it was a 3-way match. It is not. Number two, a lot of people are comparing this to the conclusion of the 1997 Champion Carnival. That was a round robin with points, basically a mini block with 3 guys. It is not that. That was 3 distinct matches in a block format with whoever had the most points at the end, because the 3 of them were tied at the top of the regular block play being the winner. That's not what this is either. This is 3 men. 2 guys start the match, and they say they're going to determine that with a lottery. Okay, so they're going to do some kind of drawing to see who starts the match. Okay. And then from there, it's always one-on-one. And whoever is the first man to win 2 falls in a row wins the match. So theoretically, it could end after the second match. If the same guy wins the first match and then beats the second guy, it's over. Or theoretically, it can go on into perpetuity.
I was going to say, my goal is that this thing goes like 15 matches, and they're like, come on, somebody win one.
Well, in theory, it can go on literally
It could go on literally forever. Yeah, if Jake Lee beats Kento Miyahara and then loses to Yuma Aoyagi, and Yuma Aoyagi beats Kento Miyahara, but then Kento Miyahara beats Jake Lee, and then it could go on forever.
Yes.
2 in a row. One person has to win 2 matches in a row.
Right.
So at minimum, there will be 4 matches, right?
At minimum, there'll be 2 matches.
All right. Oh, you're right. Because he could go out there and immediately. Yeah, right.
So if Yuma Aoyagi and Jake Lee start, and Jake Lee wins, then it's Jake Lee versus Kento Miyahara.
Right, and then
if Jake Lee wins, it's over.
Right.
Because then he won 2 in a row.
Yeah, so it could go 2 matches, or it could go to 2,000 matches.
It could go forever. Go literally forever. I mean, it could be infinite. So if the new guy keeps winning, then it just keeps on going. So that's the format. It comes from Sumo. Some Joshi promotions have done it. Wave, the Joshi promotion, Wave has done this style of match. It comes from Sumo. I'm not opposed to this gimmick match. I'm opposed to doing it for the Triple Crown, because the Triple Crown is such a historical title. I think this cheapens the Triple Crown a bit to decide it like this. And again, people who are comparing it to the 97 Carnival as a precedent, you're wrong. That was a round robin. Okay? That was not this kind of match. So that bothers me a little. If you did this style of match for the NXT title, or for some indie title, or for, I don't know, whatever the fuck, I wouldn't care. But there's a small handful of titles that I think should be treated with reverence and respect, and that I respect the history of, where doing a gimmicky match for it bothers me. With that said, this is not 1991 All Japan. Okay, it's basically an indie at this point. So trying something new to drum up some interest, something creative because you're in a tough spot, I get it. This doesn't bother me as much as if you did this with fucking Misawa, Taue, and fucking, Kawada. That would have drove me nuts. This bothers me, but not on that level, because I don't think All Japan is what it was. And even though it's still the Triple Crown, and I would prefer not to see it decided in this manner, I can't get too wrapped up in the fact that they're doing a gimmick match.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, to me, we're always the guys, and we did this with the IWGP World Heavyweight title, where some people don't give 2 shits, and you and I do think that there is something to be said for titles. And I think especially this one, because it's been I mean, since April 1989, it's been clean as fuck. You know what I mean? Like they have never really deviated from it whatsoever. It's never gone to random promotions. It's always kind of stayed in house. You know, when Jumbo Tsuruta beats Stan Hansen to unify, you know, the NWA International and the PWF heavyweight title and the NWA United title, and it's pretty much that way. You know, it's one-on-one matches, and it's pretty, you know, semi-long reigns for a good portion of it, and yeah, there are times when it got vacated, but you know, looking back, there was one time where Terry Gordy, you know, he had to vacate it, and Stan Hansen just beat Misawa. It was just a straight up singles match. He beat Misawa. There's another time that Kawada got hurt, and they did Akira Taue and Vader beat him, and he retained the title.
Well, these are just decision matches.
Exactly. Yeah. They never really kind of and then, you know, they did, you know, after Kenta Kobashi is going to leave to go to Noah, form Noah, and they do a tournament final because, I mean, obviously the company is decimated at that point, so they have to do a tournament final. This is like later in the year, and even then they just do a tournament final, and Tenryu beats Kawada, and that you're good. You know, that's all it is. Kawada gets hurt, you know, Tenryu beats Muto to get the title, and then they later, you know, Shinya Hashimoto gets hurt, and they have Kawada beat Otani in a tournament final. And then that's pretty much it. Then you just have, decision matches. Amori beats Jun Akiyama to win the vacant title. Zeus loses to Kento Miyahara. But they've kept it pretty damn clean through a lot of the title history. And it's just, I guess the part of me that kind of the nerd wrestling fan in me is just, there's just been, in this last year, a lot of these companies have just been kind of haphazard and wild with stuff. And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, history matters. Like, that stuff does matter. And there's a certain prestige to keeping a title clean and keeping a title important and keeping a lineage and all that sort of stuff. And people are like laughing at us about the New Japan one, but it's like, no, there's something to be said. That is one of the most important and easy title, you know, stories to tell in wrestling is a title match. And it's so easy to tell it when it's a title that matters and it's a title that's important. And that stuff is just, it's a layup. It's an easy thing. And I'm not saying that this makes the Triple Crown like not important or whatever. It's just, to me, it's a little gimmicky. I don't hate it. I just don't love it, I guess, is probably the best way to say it.
Yeah, I don't love it either. You know, but yeah, it's
like you said, it's All Japan in 2021, so it's like, I don't know, man. This company's barely hanging on to its life. So
indie. It's a big indie.
Yeah,
it's an indie with a history behind the name.
Right. So trying to equate, like, maybe our problem is trying to equate, you know, what's going to happen here to, you know, Akira Taue and Kento Kobashi and Misawa. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not that. I mean, it's quite literally not that company anymore. It's even in name and trademark and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's not even the same company. So it's like, you know, it just has this title that's kind of, you know, attached to it. But I don't know. Yeah, to me, there was a lot of the rumors that were coming out about this had me more annoyed at first when it was going to be a triple threat match. I was like, oh fuck no. And then when they were
that I'd be much more angry.
And I was about to really get upset when people, because there was a lot of things going out. Is what they're going to do is every guy's going to have, you know, one of the Triple Crown titles, and then he's going to defend that in one of the matches, and then eventually he's going to unify. And I'm like, no, we're not breaking up the fucking titles. We're not having, you know, the NWA United National title, you know, get resurrected for the first time since 1989. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, that sucks. Don't do that. And they're not doing that. So
there was a lot of confusion, and it's understandable because this isn't a match type that people are super familiar with. I mean, if you're not a sumo fan or you're not watching, you know, very, very obscure Joshi, then you probably have never seen a match gimmick like this. I've never seen this match. Have you ever seen this?
I haven't. I haven't. And again, I honestly don't hate it. I think it might actually be pretty fun, and I'm kind of interested in watching, you know, seeing it. It's just, the problem is probably
interesting ways you can book it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's different things you can do from a booking standpoint. And I'm curious to see where what they do with it. You know, you could have the winner of the first match be exhausted, and, you know, see, in kayfabe, you don't want to be in the first match. You want to be in the second match, because the guy who loses the first match is in the worst position, because then he's helpless. Because if the guy who beat him wins the next match, it's over, and he has no control over it at that point. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you want to lose that draw. You want to be the guy in the second match, because the guy in that second match, you know, he controls his own destiny, and the guy who loses the first match, now he does not. So, and the guy in the second match presumably would be fresh. So the advantage is to be the odd man out in kayfabe. So I'm interested to see how they handle all of that and present it, and and from that standpoint, there's a lot of interesting things you can
Yeah, it's a cool one because, like, in some match types, people will say, like an Iron Man match, like some people will say, it's easy to, just tap out immediately to save yourself. You don't want to be caught in a hold for too long or whatever. And that's a cool little, that's a cool style there where, in the TJP Josh Alexander that happened, where pretty early in the match, I think it was TJP caught Alexander and Alexander just taps right away. Like, all right, no, I'm not going to deal with this. I'll get it back. I'll win it back later. And in this case, you don't want to do that because you'll lose, but you also don't want to have like a 20-minute battle, where you're going tooth and nail to beat this guy. And yeah, it's good that you move on, but now you've softened yourself up for the next guy and you put yourself at a disadvantage. And so, like you're saying, there's a lot of cool stuff that this could. I'm very interested in seeing it. I mean, it's going to be tough because it's All Japan in 2021, but I have some hope for this. I think this will be kind of fun, and I'm definitely interested in checking it out. So,
you think Jake Lee wins?
I would say yeah. I think so. I think it's probably the time to do that, unless you want him to have a real hunt. But he won the carnival. Like, isn't that his hunt? And I guess there's a way that you can have it be like a one-day hunt where he really has got to work his ass off to win this title. I think that's probably the way to do it. I mean, the safe way is just go to Kento because he's there. But I don't know. I think this is a good time to give it to Jake Lee.
I mean, if you were gonna put the title on Kento, why didn't he win the carnival?
Right, exactly.
And Aoyagi's just there to fill.
No, Aoyagi's just there to have good matches. Yeah, but
he's not winning. I mean, Jake Lee should probably win. I'll root for Kento though because I like him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I like him more. So from a fan standpoint, I'll be rooting for Kento Miyahara. But Jake Lee should win. Yeah, but it fucking All Japan and it's clap crowds and it's half. I can't get excited about anything.
No, I know.
It's just so hard to get excited about it because the excitement would be, okay, they're belting up Jake Lee. Now let's see how business does. Let's see how fans react to him.
Right. Is he a star? Is he an actually made man? And it's like, I mean, I don't know. They sold 200 tickets to Corkin. Like, what does that do for you?
Yeah, it's all like stripped away. We can't even see how fans respond to him aside from like clapping. And it really sucks the juice out of it. And it's like, is it even good for him to win it under these circumstances? And there's been mixed reviews on the heel work that he's done. I liked it. I liked the heel work that he did in the carnival, but a lot of people didn't. A lot of people that were Jake Lee supporters were like, I don't like his heel work. And here I was, a guy who gave up on Jake Lee, and I was like, I like his heel work. I seem to zig when everybody else zags on this guy. I don't know. But it's probably time to do it. But, man, I don't know. I'd rather watch Kento Miyahara title matches, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll see. So that's going to be on the 26th. They're a pretty decent show as well on the 26th. They're kind of making this a kind of a big deal. So we'll obviously watch it next week.
You got the card?
I can get it in one moment here. Let's get the whole card because there's.
Let's do the card, then end the show.
Okay. Yep.
Sorry, Ring of Honor, you got bumped.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't really actually caught up on Ring of Honor, so it's probably okay to do that. Man, why is it not? Fuck, I had it and now I lost it.
Is it on?
It's on their website. It's on their website. It's 2021 Champions Night, All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Let's see if I can find it.
So, yeah. Whoever can get there first. The place that I thought would have it didn't have it, and now I'm scrambling here.
The place I thought had it didn't have it either.
See.
And then you got to translate it. All Japan Pro Wrestling.
This is great radio.
Should be on .tv, right?
But then no. See, the problem is you got to go to their actual website then to see it. It doesn't.
There's no link to the.
So you can get to the official website by going to the footer, and it says official
yeah.
website. But again, this is my problem is it's loading and all right, and then it's also I found it earlier, but okay, I got it here.
Okay.
So you have, as we said,
give me the good stuff. Give me the top stuff.
Okay. How does Koji Iwamoto versus your boy Akira Francesco? How do you like that?
Well, the good Italian boy won the junior battle.
Yeah, and he's going for that world junior heavyweight title. Is he going to do it?
And he sent out that charming picture with
his
family.
He's got his family. Did you see his other picture? He's got a fresh new haircut, Joe. I don't know.
Yeah, he's you see him thanking his family. They were all named like Giancarlo.
That's a great family. Yeah,
it's tremendous. Look, I don't think he's going to win. He doesn't feel like he's hot enough right now to win. He didn't even really feel hot enough to win the tournament, honestly, but it's good to have a new name in the title picture, I guess, but I don't feel like it's his time, and I don't think he will win, and I don't think he should win.
Ah, damn it. All right. Well, Gaora TV Championship, Suji Ishikawa defending the title against Yuko Miyamoto.
Yeah, I mean, Ishikawa will probably I mean, it doesn't really matter, honestly.
Right.
But yeah, what else we got?
Some other stuff on there. It's not loaded, but it's a lot of names, I would say. That match is horrendous.
Are the rest tags?
The rest are kind of tags, yeah. I thought there was another singles match. Oh, Yoshitatsu versus Nishijima. It's a Road to Royal Road strong style heterogeneous fighting battle third. I don't know. That might just be a terrible translation there.
I don't know who the other wrestler is.
Nishijima. I don't know who Yusuke Nishijima is.
Is it an intergender match or something?
I don't know.
I don't know who that other wrestler
I don't know who that is either.
You're either botching a name or it's someone I never heard of. I don't know.
Oh, he's like a kickboxing MMA guy. So, bad, great. Terrible work shoot fighting with Yoshitatsu. That should be great.
That could be train wreck awful.
That should be. Yeah. It should be pretty good. Yeah, the rest of it's just random tags.
Okay.
Sushi is on the show. Sugi is on the show. Your guy. Did you see the thing that Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sugi worked at Junior Battle of Glory.
Yeah.
So it's good to see him anywhere that's going to make tape. Honestly.
Did you see the tweet I sent out about a Wrestling Observer line I found about sushi from back in the day? So let me read this for you if you haven't seen it. We got a few minutes. So I'm going through it for the Slammiversary show, patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling. I'm going through various Wrestling Observers to find stuff, and I'm gonna try to find the exact quote here. But it was it's who eventually turned out to be Sushi. So okay. June 9th, 2008, Wrestling Observer. So this is a TNA news note here. Akira Raijin, who eventually would become Sushi, had a tryout at the last tapings. Told he looked good, but nothing spectacular. Doing a style described as a cross between Keiji Muto and Chris Benoit.
Yes. When I think of sushi,
when you think of Sushi,
yes,
you think, he's good. He's not spectacular, but he definitely reminds me of Keiji Muto and Chris Benoit.
Absolutely.
Because when you see a wrestler and you think, he's not spectacular, but he reminds me of, I don't know, two of the best wrestlers ever.
Right. Like you think you'd name two mediocre guys.
Right. He reminds me of, Kevin Von Erich and then like some dude, you know what I mean? And it's just like, okay. Or like, I don't even know what you would say Sushi reminds you of, but.
The Kevin Von Erich slander here.
Oh, I'm just, you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm not going to break your balls.
But like, I'm trying to think in my head. I've seen Sushi wrestle many times. What did he do in that TNA tryout as Akira Raijin that reminded anybody of a cross between Keiji Muto and Chris Benoit? Or who gave him this report? Was it basically just an American guy who saw a Japanese guy and thought, it looks like great Muto? Because
I'm trying to think what a cross between Keiji Muto and Chris Benoit would even look like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I don't think it looks like Akira Raijin, because he also did eventually work for TNA, and he wasn't that there, and he isn't that as Sushi, so I don't know.
Suicide.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Keiji Muto's deliberate movements combined with the rabid Wolverine's
right, that's what I mean. They don't even wrestle the same. Like,
right.
Like Keiji Muto's a very deliberate guy that like spams certain moves, and Chris Benoit chops the fuck out of you and is intense the entire time. And then,
I guess Muto's prime Keiji Muto, not the old version, but like when he was in his prime, he was very deliberate in his movements, but he did have sudden strike. Like he did have,
he would do that moonsault out of nowhere. He would like jump up and hit the moonsault in 5 seconds, and it looked cool.
His offense was explosive. I would describe him as explosive. But Chris Benoit was just a frenetic ball of energy at all times. Like he always seemed like he was on edge, which is a little ominous.
That's a little ominous to what eventually happened. Yes,
but it's like that's where the big difference is. Muto was very deliberate in his movements, and you always felt like his nickname was the wrestling genius because it's like his, in kayfabe, he was a step ahead of you and he would stalk you, but he was explosive. And Benoit was explosive, but Benoit was more, I don't know. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
There you go. I just thought that was a hilarious thing. But Slammiversary synopsis, patreon.com/voice wrestling, $5 tier to hear all those. Covered the 2005 King of the Mountain match. That was good. Covered the 2006 King of the Mountain match. That was horrendous. So thankfully TNA very quickly got back on track with having terrible, terrible matches. So, all right. Anything else, Joe, you want to plug?
No, I'm already drinking my Coke Z. So
you're ready. Yeah, patreon.com/voice wrestling.
I didn't think I was going to be asked to speak again.
No, you're good. No, drink that Coke Z. You're good. You're good. Lanza reviews 5 matches, including the hyped Joshi match, where you'll find out if Joe will ever watch Joshi again, what he thought of the match. We talked about it a little bit last week. But did not come to a conclusion as to Joe would not reveal his opinions on that match last week.
That's on the $1 tier.
That is on the $1 tier, practically giving that away. A tremendous review. And that's it. That's just one of 5 matches you have reviewed on the Lanza Reviews 5 matches, because it's called Lanza Reviews 5 matches. So you review.
Want me to give you the next 5 I'm doing?
5 matches. Yeah, you got them? Yeah, go ahead.
I got my notes here. Laredo Kid versus Latigo for the AAA Cruiserweight title. Bobby Lashley versus Xavier Woods, Hell in a Cell. Gavin McGavin versus Marcius Pitt.
Oh, that's gotten 5 stars. Kevin on our website, 5 stars for that match. So
from EPW, yeah. So we've got 3 different countries there. Someone sent me this Daniel Garcia match from a promotion called Daddy Yeah Promotions.
Daddy Yeah Promotions. Is that an RP account or no?
It's called Daddy Yeah Promotions. It's Daniel Garcia versus a man with the last name Lee. I've never heard of him. I don't know anything about him. And I didn't write down his whole name in my notes, but his last name is Lee. So I wanted to do this, number 1, because it's a Daniel Garcia match. Number 2, because it's against a wrestler I've never seen before, and that's always interesting to me. And number 3, because it's a promotion called Daddy Yeah Promotions.
Yeah, you could scratch off the I have watched a Daddy Yeah Promotions match this year in 2021. So
yes,
Daddy
and then
Yeah Promotions. Okay. All right.
That's what it's called. Daddy Yeah Productions. I got it wrong.
Productions, sorry. Daddy Yeah Productions. Okay.
I don't even think it's I don't even think it makes cage match.
Where is this located? Obscure. Like what town or region is this?
I don't know, but I have to go to some weird Facebook page to watch the match.
So that's always a good thing. Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm going to watch that match. And then the 5th match is still up in the air. So that'll be the next batch. I haven't decided on the 5th match. To the people who sent me matches, if you sent me YouTube links, they're saved, and I will get to all of those matches eventually, but it might not be in this batch. When I ask for matches, if you send me YouTube links, I'm 99.9% positive I'm eventually going to watch and write a review. If you just send me matches, I might forget about them. I might not write them down. I like working with the YouTube. I like the YouTube because I can click save. It goes on my little list. Do you know what I mean? It's more organized that way.
Right.
You're rolling the dice if you just send me the name of a match. If it doesn't catch my attention in the moment, I'm never going to fucking remember it, and I'm not going to review it. You send me a YouTube link when I ask for shit, I'm clicking that little fucking watch later, and I'm going to get to it.
So Daddy Yeah Productions is based in Buffalo, so
okay.
Daniel didn't have to go very far, so he just rolled out of bed and worked it. So that's good, because I'm wondering how far did he travel for Daddy Yeah Productions, but the answer is not very far. So good.
I wonder if Brandon Thurston Howard ever worked Daddy.
I was gonna say better dust off those boots.
Yeah, pandemic's almost over.
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah, I don't know what shape is this guy even in.
Look, I get not working during the pandemic. Personal choice. Time to get back in there, pal.
Let's go. Yeah, dust those boots off. Get on those ropes. He's got it. Yeah, I mean that's gonna be hard to get back to the ropes, and I don't know. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, who knows if this guy can even go anymore? Did he put on the pandemic 20?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I said. What kind of shape is Brandon in?
Yeah,
we'll see. Can he even go with Daniel anymore? Because Garcia, I mean, just, talking pure trajectory. I mean, Garcia's on the rise here, and Brandon.
Well, Garcia put him in the rear view in 2019.
You're right. He did. So yeah, he did.
He proved who the better man was. I think there's no doubt.
Definitively proved who the better man was. Yeah, in that feud. So.
But I mean, Thurston, get your nose out of the spreadsheets and get back in the ring. I mean, let's go.
Yeah, close that laptop and let's go.
I mean, geez.
Daddy Yeah Productions, baby. It's right in your backyard. Let's go.
The Impact demos aren't going anywhere. You can get back to that. Okay? Let's get back in there.
There you go. Anyway, that is the Voice Wrestling Flagship. So anyway, details on the New Japan GLEAT relationship, you got that on there. Slammiversary synopsis, Lanza Reviews 5 matches, the ones we talked about right there. That's all at patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling. Everything else we do is at voicesofwrestling.com, at Voices Wrestling on Twitter, but don't follow because that's stupid. Do not do that. But if you want to on Twitter, it's at Voices Wrestling. But do join the Discord at voicesofwrestling.com/Discord. That is actually good. Twitter is actually bad. And that is it for Joe and myself. So we'll talk to you next time on the Voice of Wrestling Flagship.
Pros bring a little extra to everything they do. So do we. It's called Pro Extra, the Home Depot's loyalty program built just for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like Pro Extra dollars or a tool rental credit, plus other great benefits that save time and money. With Pro Extra, the more you spend, the more you earn. Get $20 off your next purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Sign up on the Home Depot mobile app.
The Wendy's Wendy's restaurant in your area has issued a major bag alert.
Bag alert, major bag alert.
The Bacon Double Stack is back in the biggie bag with fries, nugs, and a drink, all for just $5. The following are to be expected: joy, disbelief, inability to think about anything else. This deal is effective immediately, and it's only at Wendy's.
Major bag alert. Bag alert. Major
Biggie bag includes 4-piece nuggets, small fry, and small drink. U.S. price and participation may vary.